there, everybody. Hey there, hi there, ho there. Welcome to Fat Man Beyond. I'm Kevin Smith.
I am Marc Bernardin.
Hey, all.
Hey.
Lift my chair a little bit. Um, Kids, I've been, there you go, out in the world, touring for the last month with Dogma across this great land of ours. 20 city tour with a 25-year-old movie, really 26. We're saying 25 though, because like the Catholic Church, we're stretching the truth just a little bit. And my Lord, it was lovely. 2 shows a night, packed, 2 Q&As after each show. Longest Q&A is 4 hours, which is fucking nuts. When we were at Smodcastle, we did 5 shows. It was just absolutely lovely. And so thank you to everybody who went. Then I went to the Cannes Film Festival. Dogma got into the Cannes Classics section. And so for the second time, I went to Cannes with Dogma. We went back in 1999 as well. So I got 2 sets of laurels on that fucking bitch.
Ooh.
What up? That was my 4th time that I ever went to Cannes. And when I went over, you know, I was like, oh, this will be a nice like victory lap, because I honestly felt my Cannes-worthy movie days were behind me. I mean, I haven't been there in 19 years, so I felt the message was pretty clear. But when I was there, walking the Croisette, if you will, seeing all the familiar places from my childhood, man, when fucking Clerks first went to Cannes unexpectedly in 1994, and then when we went back with Dogma in 99, and then when we went with Clerks 2 in 2006, like suddenly I got bit by the bug again, and I was like, why do you think you were never going to make another Cannes-worthy movie, man? Why don't you just try? So I'm going to try to go back, man. I'm going to try to go back. This edition that just finished was the 78th edition. I'm going to try to go back for the 80th edition with a Dogma sequel that I've been writing.
Ooh, sexy.
So we'll see. So I've been having just a blast, but for me, the last month, my head has been straight up Dogma's ass, and it's like constantly 1999. Although the tour was mostly through AMC theaters, with the exception of Smodcastle Cinemas. And so the AMC theaters largely were at malls. This is not thirsty dog. So not only was it like 1999 every night for me, I was getting like Mallrats flashbacks. It was like 1995 as well. So it comes out this Thursday. Let's tell you, Tuesday? Yeah, 2 more days, man. June 5th. Dogma on screens everywhere near you, kids. Like at your local cinema, for heaven's sakes. Pay $10 or less to see it at a matinee. You could go see, you could go feel like it's the 90s again on the big screen. Let me tell you, some of my favorite people in the world in that movie, and for the last month, I've been spending every night with them. My favorite people looking their absolute youngest. Oh my God. Matt Damon looks like Matt Damon's daughter in this movie. He's so fucking young. Babyface Muse, just like an infant in the movie. It's crazy. Little cherub. So
yeah, has never looked better.
Yeah, true. So yeah, Thursday, everybody. All weekend. You know, I mean, it just happens. Starts Thursday, and then on Thursday night, I'm going to be in Jersey at Smodcastle Cinemas doing a screening. So the 7:30 show, if anybody wants to go to Q&A, I think we're doing signed posters and stuff. And then Friday night, I'm going to be up at Tribeca, the film festival, because Logic's movie is debuting. Nice. It's having its world fucking premiere, man.
Outstanding.
Pretty special. And then on Saturday, I go to Phoenix Fan Fusion for all you Arizonians out there. And then I get to come home on that Sunday, and finally I get to breathe for about a week.
Mm.
And then Jason Mewes and I go back out on the road for the Oral Sex Tour Part 2. Tickets at csmod.com. And that'll take us all the way through to July.
Yeah. And then whatever Comic-Con shenanigans you have going on.
Which we don't have Tin Roof Inn, so we're not going to be doing the movies, but I hear rumors that we may have gigs.
I've heard similar rumors. Unconfirmed.
There are wars and rumors of wars, Mark. So that looks like that's going to be July. And then fingers crossed, by the end of the summer, I may be busy again. Jerking off a guy while looking in another guy's ass. That's what I'm doing. Is that what it looks like?
I want to know what kind of jerking off this is.
I'm winging it around doing this shit. Fox on the run. Hey man, enough about Kevin Smith and all his bullshit. Although, fuck, I could talk about it forever. I love Kevin Smith. What that fucking Superman trailer,
bruv. I mean, like, listen, I was already interested. I was already curious. And what got me was not fucking like, Biff Pow laser beams or whatever the fuck it is. It's Lois Lane interviewing Clark Kent.
100%. What a great choice. Now, I'm sure it's a great scene in the movie, and I've read it's like a 12-minute scene in the movie.
Oh, wow.
Or more. Like if they said it's like a good percentage of the movie. But using that as the framing device for the trailer, so smart.
Mm-hmm.
So smart. And allowing him to get to the moment where he's like, people were going to die. It was perfection. There's your Clark Kent, there's your Kal-El, there's your Superman right there, man. Their botanage, their back and forth, Miss Lane, and all that shit. And like the dialogue on top of each other where he's like, well, it's not a lot. And she's like, it's a lot. Just excellently done. I can't wait, man. That trailer gives me goosebumps and shit. But I'm going to tell you right now, they hurt that fucking dog, I'm going to fire that gun.
You were going to John Wick all over this. Did you kill him?
Oh my God. Both of the Warner's brothers will be hearing from me.
Did you kill that dog?
Oh, they're going to hear from fucking Streaky and Comet, motherfucker. They do a goddamn thing to Crypto. I love that little CG dog. Yeah, man. Crypto's appearance in the trailer. I think Nicholas Hoult is striking a fantastic Lex Luthor.
Mm-hmm.
Just the right amount of disdain in his voice. Like, it looks great. Fantastic Four trailer looks fucking amazing. I just read a report online that Disney, for the first time in years, had a test screening.
Yes.
And not one of their usual, we just show it to friends and family thing. Like, they went out into the wild, recruited, and showed the movie.
Yeah, which I think it's a good sign. Because if the movie's bad, then they keep that shit in house.
Because if the movie's bad, they're like, we're blaming the test screening audience. We tried this time. No, and well, also for years, to keep spoilers from getting out and shit like that, they just kind of went inside, which made sense for like Infinity War and Endgame and stuff like that. But when you're not going out to the great unwashed, the general public, man, not just me and Marc and fucking Banff, man, and all the people who'd be sitting here watching the show, but like people who like, oh, I go to the movies once, a year. What's playing? That kind of thing.
Right.
You got to pull those cats in. And so I guess the philosophy of this Fantastic Four test screening is like, they're trying to play it as mainstream as possible. Like, they want it to be a good time, not just for us, but we're pre-sold. They want it to be a good time the way that, like, Iron Man was a surprise good time for a bunch of people who were like, "Oh, I'll go see this Robert Downey Jr. movie or this Iron Man movie or whatever the fuck."
Yeah, it's the first time in a long time that they've had a movie that requires no pre-knowledge of the movie.
Mm.
You know, it is not locked into a saga per se.
Yeah.
I mean, Guardians, Black Panther to a certain degree, Shang-Chi to a certain degree, you didn't need to know more of the world than you met on those movies. But this is another one where like takes place in the 60s. You don't there was no MCU in the 60s as far as we know it. So can we make this as accessible to everybody? I think it's smart. I think
Yeah.
it's smart.
And they definitely get away with it with these characters who've not been in the MCU before. So they're like, oh, fuck, here's a way to introduce them. They've
Mhm.
never been in the MCU. They've been off in their own pocket universe or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, good times, man. Good times. I can't wait.
Did you see the trailer for Frankenstein?
I did not. Is the Guillermo one?
Yeah, with Oscar Isaac as Victor von Frankenstein.
I'll watch that guy do anything, man.
I mean, it's the most I want to fuck Victor Frankenstein movie I think that's ever been made.
I did see a still of him looking all fucking sweaty and wet,
Oh,
and I was like,
we are definitely in the post Kenneth Branagh universe of like, what if Frankenstein fucked? Like, why isn't his shirt on when he's flipping these switches?
what if Frankenstein fucked? And I ain't talking the bride, kids.
Everything. It's not nailed down.
Just whatever moved, whatever didn't move, and he put life back into it.
Igor's spine used to be straight.
Yeah, fucked him crooked.
Fucked him scoliotic.
Speaking of Igor, where the fuck is Banff Man? Jump in here, fucking Banff Man. Let everybody know you're still there.
Banff.
There he is.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm good. I did 3 hours of podcast this afternoon, so I am marathoning today.
Why? What do you mean?
I had we did the season 1 finale of my Star Wars Rebels podcast we recorded today. And then I had Nerds of Color interviewed us for their podcast. So I was a guest on theirs.
Ooh.
And then I took a short nap, ate dinner, and we're going all night on Fat Man Beyond.
Fucking A, man. How goes the bar?
Bar's good. We're building a guest house at my house for my mother-in-law. And we discovered after we've lived here for 8 years and been paying city sewer, we discovered that there is a ginormous septic tank under my backyard. And we are not actually on city sewer. So that was my non-podcast is a lot of construction. A lot of problem solving.
Do you get that money back after having paid the city for sewer usage for 8 years?
So I do, which is exciting.
You fought the law and you won.
It's only exciting though until you get the quote on how much it is to bypass the septic tank, and then it is a net huge loss. But things are good. Can't complain. Can't complain. I've got exciting news to announce probably the next time we do this show. You guys both know. Been talking about it for a long time.
That's good news.
Mm.
That's damn good news. Hey, Josh Mundhall in chat. Let me see. I got to read this real quick. Kev, who Jason Biggs the cake Friday morning? I went by Friday night to eat a slice and it looked just like that damn pie. Even I felt violated after looking at it. Mundhall gave me a duplicate of the cake that he brought to Vulgarthon. That one was not a vegan cake. It was gluten-free, but everyone enjoyed it. But he brought the same cake, but this time it was vegan. And I had a big wedge in the morning, and I guess he says it looked like the cake was fucked. American Pied that cake. But I shot a video, Josh, so I'll put it up in the club at That Kevin Smith Club. Kids, are you a That Kevin Smith Club member? What the fuck? Go to thatkevinsmithclub.com. But I'll put it up there so you can see the video. Took a nice video of it and chit chat about it before I ate it. It was yummy.
A lot of people in chat are speculating that I'm having another baby, another child. My latest daughter just turned 3 months old. My wife does not want me anywhere near her. The baby is still so little. There is no way I'm having another kid. Something as exciting though.
There is a birth happening.
Yes.
Wow.
A virgin birth.
That was pretty good. Like, I know, and I'm like, he ain't wrong. All right, man. Should we pay the bills before we do anything?
That's a fine idea, sir.
Kids, the good folks at Mando are our sponsor here tonight for Fat Man Beyond. Just to put you in a Mando state of mind, man. Mando's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like mini body wash or deodorant wipes, and free shipping. A special offer for our listeners. New customers get 20% off site-wide with our exclusive code. Use the code FATMAN, all one word, FATMAN, at shopmando.com, shopmando.com for 20% off site-wide and free shipping. Shopmando.com. Go right now. We'll wait. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Mando's got you covered, man, with deodorant plus sweat control. Say goodbye to sweat stains and hello to long-lasting freshness with Mando. Kids, you ever step outside and feel like you're instantly drenched in sweat? I felt that the other day, man. Not today, though. Today was like overcast and rainy and shit in Los Angeles.
It's like the last time we're going to get a day like this.
Exactly, man. But it was a June gloomy kind of day. But it was 98 the other day, and I was moist as fuck, man. It's like no matter what you do, it don't fucking stop. I have definitely, coming from New Jersey, I grew up that way. If you've been struggling with heat and humidity like I have in the past, I got some great news for you. Mando's just launched something that takes sweat control to the next level, man. Introducing the Mando Deodorant Plus Sweat Control Solid Stick. It's double penetration. Good Lord, where's my head? It's double protection. Finally, you get the odor control that you love with Mando plus powerful sweat control. Don't wait. Grab yours right now at shopmando.com and experience the double protection of Mando Deodorant plus sweat control. Tell them, Marc.
Listen, as we are all of us planning for both a summer and a Comic-Con season, you could use some clinical strength sweat control. Trust me, I've been walking those floors for 20 some odd years. We could all use some fucking clinical strength sweat control. This is not your typical deodorant. It's clinical strength, twice as good at controlling sweat than the standard. It controls sweat and odor for 72 hours. And after just 12 hours, underarm sweat was reduced by 92%, man. This shit works. It's re-engineered to stop odor before it starts. It doesn't just mask it, it prevents it. And 100% of study participants experienced all-day odor protection. Premium fucking ingredients, and like the man said, double protection. Both odor and sweat get tackled like a fucking limp biscuit at a juggalo-a-thon. I don't know what that means. Mando's new deodorant plus sweat control solid stick gives you double the protection you need. No more worrying about sweat stains or embarrassing pit rings. Just all-day freshness and dryness.
We love Mando. Mando's never lost faith in us. And I'll tell you something, I've never lost faith in Mando. When I was on the tour for the last month, guess what I had in my bag? I'd pull out.
Hell yeah.
The wipes, the deodorant wipes, man. I was fresh, even when I wasn't. Sometimes you drive and for like 12 hours, man, you just need to freshen up. Whore's bath, they called it, I believe, at one point. I believe in Mando. Sure, Mando doesn't believe in us after that. They're like, orders, man. Kids, fucking Mando deodorant plus sweat control solid stick. They keep up in their game. They don't even have to. They've done so many good things. And then they're like, guess what? Bam. Mando deodorant plus sweat control solid stick, son.
Hell
Starter pack is perfect for new customers. Mando starter pack comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, like mini body wash and deodorant wipes. I can vouch for them. Deodorant wipes, hardcore. And free shipping. As a special offer for our listeners, new customers get 20% off site-wide with our exclusive code. Use that code FATMAN, capital F, capital A, capital T, capital M, capital A, capital N at shopmando, shopmando.com for 20% off site-wide and free shipping. Take us home, Marc.
Shopmando.com, shopmando.com. Please support our show. Tell them we sent you. Mando's got you covered with deodorant plus sweat control. Say goodbye to sweat stains and hello to long-lasting freshness.
Kids, we thank the good folks at Mando for sponsoring this here episode of Fat Man Beyond. In chat, Shad Kanyak says, I wonder how Harley feels about the fact she's going to inherit a Bullwinkle museum. That ain't even the embarrassing side, man. Like fucking I while I was on the road, they had the J Ward auction at Van Eaton Galleries.
Oh boy.
And yeah, I was involved with a live auction and stuff. So let me
was it an actual auction or was it more just like bring it all to my house?
I mean, I wish it was that. I had to be picky and choosy. See this?
Mm-hmm.
Is tall, almost as tall as me.
Oh, damn.
I mean, his finger is taller than me. This is the Bullwinkle that stood in the doorway of the Dudley Do Right Emporium since like the store opened back in the day and stuff. When I first went there with my mom in 1986, that Bullwinkle was there to greet me. So there was this gigantic Bullwinkle statue that I was wanting to buy, but it was made in 2000 for the movie. So it really, as much as it was grand and wonderful, it just didn't have the same emotional significance that one had. So I got that one.
No.
And it cost me the price of a small car. No, it was not super expensive, but it wasn't cheap either. But man, worth it. So yeah, and then on that side of the room, there's a big ass fucking Bullwinkle. Just so much. I sometimes look around, and this the kid points out all the time. She's like, "You've only been doing this like since the LA fires." This was all a response to the LA fires. You would think that I would have went monastic afterwards and got rid of everything. Instead, I was like, acquire more.
You are not the De Niro from Heat. Like, have nothing you can't put in a go bag and leave 15 minutes.
No, man. That's why I can't commit no crimes. They'll get me just like that. I can't leave this shit behind. Okay. Where are we gonna go?
Well, we have a little bit of news. We have a decent amount of news. Have you, while you were on tour, did you get to watch anything on your downtime waiting for shows to start or on flights or?
Saw Dogma an awful lot.
I saw it once while you were on tour.
That's right. It's funny with the close of the tour was the other night, kids, in Burbank, the 20th city. And anyone who cosplayed dressed up, I was like, you can come up front, man. I'll take selfies while I'm answering questions. And so, I was very clear too. I was like, please, cosplay. You can't just come up if you're wearing a fucking Kevin Smith t-shirt. And then there are these two jagoffs, not in cosplay,
even close,
who come up to get a picture. And I was like, what an outrage. I was just about getting ready to be like, manager, throw them out. And then I realized it was Eric Carrasco and Marc.
And I was surprised there was no quality control to the costumes. It's like there's not even a bouncer here to be like, come on, bro.
You're surprised. Yeah, it was pretty, the tour was wonderful, but it was, it was one guy just going from movie theater to movie theater, and wonderful staffs at every movie theater who all took care of me and stuff. But yeah, should have brought like a body man that was just like, hey, that ain't cosplay.
Come on, man. You can't do that.
But yeah, no complaints. It was absolutely lovely. My God.
I will say a couple of things struck me, having not seen it really since the first time it was on DVD in whatever that was, 2000, 2001, I guess, when it hit DVD for the first time. It was both, these special effects actually hold up really well. Both Carrasco and I were like,
until No Man the Shit Monster grows up out of the floor. That's a little
suspect. Not even suspect.
And also, like, one of the biggest moments in the movie is like, fucking Ben Affleck's angel who's gone run amok, comes down in front of the church and everyone turns like, oh my God. We cut to this shot of him, and it is some of the earliest CG in the world. In fact, it was CG that wasn't even intended to be CG. We had these wings on them that didn't move, that just hung there, and we were lowering them on ropes. It looked terrible. So we later on in post, we were like, hey man, to the FX guy, can you fix this? So we got moving wings, and it worked a hell of a lot better. In 1999, it was pretty damn passable. It's the one moment, like when I watched the movie night after night, I was like, yeah, we probably should have updated the effects. I didn't have to go full George Lucas, but special editions, but I probably could have. But there was a thought in advance of like, what do you do? Do you show them the movie that you made, or do you show them, the movie that you're gussying up? And I was like, let's honor what it was. And so, I let the effects ride. So it's nice to hear that you were like,
it didn't bump me at all.
Really, I bumped into it so hard, man. I look at those wings, and there's one shot where No Man the Golgothan's fist turns into a cannon and he blows shit at them.
Mm-hmm.
That just looks like, I think a grade schooler today could probably pull it off. And that's no disrespect to the artists who did it back in the day. It's just they did it in 1999.
Yeah,
like
it's the equivalent of going to the moon on the processing power of like a Texas Instrument calculator. It's like, we did it, but it was
and we were also not a studio movie, by the way, so right. It's not like we were like, but that being said, it's nice for me. I'm charmed to hear you be like, oh, I didn't bump into the effects at all.
No, I didn't bump into it at all. And both Carrasco and I were like busily IMDbing to try to figure out what Linda Fiorentino has been up to.
Linda, after Dogma, I remember she was going to make and was in the process of making a Georgia O'Keeffe biopic.
Mm-hmm.
And then it stopped, or I don't know if they got into production or if it closed up before production began. So professionally, that's what I know. And then personally, like over the course of the last 10 years, I've had a conversation or two with her on Facebook. But yeah, I think she just kind of stepped away.
Yeah, last credits like 2009, I think. And then it's just been signal silence.
I fell in love with her performance all over again on tour, man, because like I remember when I was a kid, I was like, well, everyone's so big, and her performance is very subtle, subdued. And that's why it works. Like, now as I watch it over and over again, night after night, I'm like, she was so smart. Like, she got the only human character in the movie, and that means the only way in for the audience. Everybody else is from heaven, hell, dead, or Jane Silent Bob. She's the only human being. She's Marilyn in the Munsters. And her performance, like she's got to be the emotional way in, the logical way in for the audience, and she is exactly that. She's given like the most human, naturalistic performance in the movie, and because of that, it's the strong spine of the picture itself. But as I watched her night after night, I would think about, like, you know, long before I met Linda, I was watching Linda on cable when I was a kid. Remember, she was in Vision Quest, and she was in Gotcha as well, where she played like the Russian agent and shit. So then, of course, you know, she'd done many, many things. But right before Dogma, maybe a year or two before Dogma, was Last Seduction, which is a John Dahl masterpiece that she is fucking brilliant in.
Yeah,
and
that's the one that blew her up for real.
That was well, she would have gotten an Academy Award nomination, and she would have won that year, were it not for the fact that Showtime aired it once at 1 a.m. before, you know, it ever played in a theater.
Oh, yeah.
That disqualified it for some reason. But when we cast her in Dogma, like, it was off of Men in Black. Remember at the end of Men in Black, it's her and Will Smith as the new Men in Black. So, you know, Miramax, and when I say Miramax, Harvey, sorry, was like, oh, you know, Men in Black. All right. That made it, validated her casting for him because she was in a gigantic movie. But I was there for Vision Quest, for Gotcha, for Queen's Logic, and for The Last Seduction. I mean, she is just so fantastic in The Last Seduction. But yeah, she's that was the last time I remember it was her working on a George O'Keefe movie.
You've had some pretty good luck with female leads from Men in Black movies.
I had to think about that. She was that before Clerks 2 even, right?
Yeah.
Because the set was that 2?
Yeah, she's in 2.
Yeah, because that happened before Clerks 2, if I remember correctly. That's wild. I hadn't thought of that. And I worked with a male lead from the Men in Black movies.
Yes, you did.
That's crazy.
Look at you.
I worked with the hero and the villain of Die Hard.
You're the Zelig of the late 90s.
I'm the Forrest Gump of this bitch, man. Like, I'm always passing by greatness. You should see me play ping pong. I suck at ping pong, but fuck, I'm good at foosball. All right, man. Where are we gonna go?
We're gonna hit some box office, mostly to justify the fact that Lilo and Stitch is our show art, even though I'm going to be pretty certain you haven't seen it. I haven't seen it.
I'm going on Father's Day.
How are you?
It opened when we were still traveling with no, I was home, but the kid, we all went over to France. It was me and Jen and Harley and Austin. And me and Jen left after 5 days, and when we were done, we left. But they stayed and went to Spain and stuff. So the plan is that on Father's Day, we're all going to go see Lilo and Stitch.
Nice.
I've heard good things.
I hear good things too. I mean, I have no nostalgia for it.
Seriously? Oh, I love Lilo and Stitch.
It's skipped over me in my adolescence.
Oh, there's a fucking movie. There's a moment in that flick where the Ohana means family hits hard, but where Stitch is like, he has this book with the fucking duckling, the ugly duckling in it, and he goes, "I'm lost." Oh, it's so fucking heartbreaking. I love Lilo and Stitch. So I'll be there for the movie. I think the effects look fucking pretty damn amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't need your help, by the way.
I've put a few bucks aside because I love to support the indie film efforts of a young upstart studio called Walt Disney.
Indeed. The movie has made, in 2 weeks, $620 million worldwide.
So more than Dogma will make this weekend.
By a scooch.
That's massive. But you know what? Makes sense. Who don't love, other than you fucking Nazi robot, who don't like Stitch? Everyone loves Stitch. He's the perfect amount of bad while being the perfect amount of cute.
Yeah, I just there's something that does bridle me the wrong way about the live action remakes of animated movies that were by and large pretty great to begin with, even if you don't have a real connection to it, like me and this one, but like they all feel like money grabs to me.
I mean, yeah, of course, but I'm shocked that this is the reality we're living in. My prediction back in the day would have been that Disney will take the soundtrack of all of your favorite films, the original soundtrack of Dumbo, and I don't mean just the music, I mean all the audio recording of Dumbo, and then build the 3 CG Pixar cartoon on top of it. So I thought they were just going to redo their libraries using the same fucking audio and just like, hey, look, now it's in 3 dimensions. And they were like, hold my beer. And they just started fucking doing live action remakes and shit. I never would have thought that. But what was the one that was it, Jungle Book first?
It was I think it was Jungle Book.
Jungle Book and then Lion King. You got Favreau to thank for all this.
Yeah. And then they started just doing like Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin. Both and
of then, and Tim Burton. You got Tim Burton to thank because
Dumbo.
Alice made $1 billion or something.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure. I never saw Alice in Wonderland, but I don't know if it was a different of the animated or if it was a readaptation of the book. Either way, like all of those fucking things made $1 billion, and so they just kept making them. Like, why not? Snow White was the one that they were like, not.
I mean, that was the one that came out recently, and everybody
yeah
had a hard time.
Yeah, that was their one stumble, and then this movie is going to make $1 billion.
Well, Dumbo
did okay. It wasn't quite the.
Did it?
Yeah, I mean it was not Aladdin. Aladdin made like $2 billion.
Yeah,
Dumbo did fine, but it wasn't a smash because it was still the weirdness of Tim Burton trying to also be a child's fable about acceptance.
Poisonous Plants 15 in chat said live action Robin Hood when he's the fox would actually be dope. Could you imagine?
I mean, then you have to just stare straight at the barrel of everybody wants to fuck this fox, and now he's 3 dimensions, and now it just got weird.
You put the fuckable Robin Hood fox and the fuckable Frankenstein in a movie together, everybody's coming.
Ooh, the lolly.
Bam. Kind of topical to this. I just looked up list of Disney animated remakes. The first one, 101 Dalmatians. Back in 1996.
Glenn Close,
that
right?
Tracks the Glenn Close one.
The screenwriter on that and the producer, John Hughes.
That's right.
Where Jay and Silent Bob are trying to get. So it all comes back and goes right through you.
So wait, so what followed that?
102 Dalmatians, Alice in Wonderland, Tim Burton in 2010. Then John Bruckheimer did Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Oh my God, I forgot about that with Nicolas Cage.
Then they did the Maleficent movie in 2014, which isn't really a remake. Cinderella, then Jon Favreau's Jungle Book. Beauty and the Beast.
In my head canon, that happens a lot earlier than everything else. That's crazy.
Yeah. Beauty and the Beast.
So the first live action remake to hit $1 billion would be Alice in Wonderland.
In 2010.
Yeah.
And then Jungle Book didn't, but Lion King did.
Which is, it's crazy to call that a live action adaptation because it's a 100% an animated movie. Because,
Also a cartoon,
yeah, everything is digital, so
more
it's
expensive cartoon.
There was also Mulan in 2020 that had a $200 million budget and only made 70 million box office. So that did not, but that was also
Kevin Smith's Mulan.
that came out in September
Look,
2020. So
I'm not trying to shame them, and I know like culturally it would have been ridiculous, but you leave Eddie Murphy's Mushu behind, you ain't got my Mulan dollars. You ain't got my Mulan moolah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was, to your point, mid-pandemic.
Yeah.
Like, what are you gonna
And
do?
Mushu, while being adorable, probably not a part of the true Mulan story, if I remember correctly.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Was there a black dragon in the OG text?
He's phenomenal. Oh my God. Eddie Murphy steals that fucking movie. And that is tough to do, man, because like the story of Mulan is well told. And fucking remember, what's his name? Miguel Ferrer plays Shen Yu, the soldier from the mountain. A deep ass fucking voice. Remember she throws her shoe at his fucking head? Like that, like it's so, oh God, that movie's so great. Remember, like fucking at one point, Mushu is like citizen, and he turns around and they're like, oh, he goes, "What are you?" And he's like a shadow. He looks like Batman, and Cricky looks like Robin. Fucking movie is phenomenal. It's absolutely phenomenal. What does it have in common with Lilo and Stitch?
Wait, what now?
What does Mulan have in common with Lilo and Stitch?
The animated versions?
Yes.
Hold. I don't know. You tell me.
I believe, and Banff Man could check on this, they're directed by the same individual.
Oh, really? Is it Musker and Clements? Was it those guys?
No, is it Chris Sanderson? Somebody look it up real quick.
Chris Sanders and Dean DeBloy directed Lilo and Stitch. Barry Cook and Tony Bancroft directed Mulan.
Oh, is that right?
Chris Sanders worked as a story supervisor on Mulan.
And I believe, if I remember correctly, if I know, I'm not a big, hardcore Disney guy, but I think he's also the voice of Stitch.
Chris Sanders?
Yeah, like even now, I believe.
Oh, wow.
I saw some article where they're like, they kept using him as the voice of Stitch, even in the live.
It was the rough track and they just liked it. Did you get a chance to catch up? There's a documentary on Apple TV called Number One on the Call Sheet, which is all about.
I saw a trailer for it.
Yeah, like it's really, really interesting, but it's basically all about the rise of the Black movie star and what it means to be the number one on the call sheet. And they interview just about everybody.
Right.
And it's a two-part. There's one for men and one for women, and they just get to talk to archival footage of everybody: Holly Berry and Viola Davis and Ashley and Alfred Woodard and Angela Bassett, but also Eddie Murphy is in the first one. And the bit that he said that blew me away was he said, "I've only ever auditioned once." And that was for Saturday Night Live.
I was just going to say it was for Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, like that's the only time I ever auditioned. I got the job, and
I don't bump into that at all. That makes fucking total sense because he got gigs straight off of that first season at SNL.
Yeah, but he was like, I don't have experience doing it because I've never really done it. And even that audition was whatever the SNL audition is. He's like, I did fucking James Brown and I did Stevie Wonder, and I was just me, and I got the job. And I don't bump into it, but it just like I hadn't ever thought about what that must have been like to be 19 years old.
One of the most talented individuals we were ever lucky enough to see across our lifetime. Like seriously, not just like I'm an Eddie Murphy fan, but Do you know how fucking talented you have to be to audition once and then never audition again for the rest
And
of your
work
life?
steady for 50 years.
And be a part of the culture. Like your laugh alone, the most identifiable fucking cinematic laugh before, fucking Seth Rogen.
Yeah. And to also never have really put a foot wrong. Like he never had a public flame out. He never had any controversies. And he was as rich can be in his early 20s. And just like never fucked up on drugs, never gotten just nothing for 50 years. It was just remarkable. And I had just never thought about it. It's like, oh shit, that guy. And that came on top of everybody talking about the SNL 50th. And everybody to a person was just like, did you see fucking Eddie Murphy? Like, fucking motherfucker can still come in there and just swing away and hasn't lost a step. And to be, whatever the fuck, one of these do not disturb guys on the stage with Eddie Murphy and what that must have meant. It's, yeah.
Remember he hosted the Christmas episode like 2 years ago? And I was hoping that would become regular, like tradition, because he was so fucking phenomenal. But he was good on the 50th. Remember he played Tracy Morgan? I mean, think about how Tracy must have felt.
Yeah.
Like Eddie Murphy is playing you. You
Eddie
grew up
Murphy
watching.
has a new impression.
Yeah. I'm gonna watch that. You sold me on that. Did you watch? Did we talk about Black Mirror?
We did not. I started watching it, or I think we did, because I remember you talked about
it. Yeah, because we talked about the episode with Rashida, I think.
Yeah. I haven't gone back to it because I'm still not feeling right after that.
Wonderful. Did we talk about the end of Paradise?
We did.
Fucking phenomenal. And it's coming back.
Yeah. And also, and one thing that I remember hearing was that they fought real hard to shoot it in California, in LA.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, because it's in the valley. Like most of those locations are in the San Fernando Valley. And like the fucking lengths they had to go. And it's ultimately Sterling didn't want to leave. And so they're like, well, you gotta have Sterling. So that means, all right, we're shooting it here. And like that's what it takes to get a production up and running in LA. Is just
what's her name? I mean, the whole cast is great. He's amazing in the show, but Juliana Nicholson.
Yeah, that's Sinatra.
Who is just fucking like, you'd love to hate her in that show. She was on Hacks this season where she played a character called Dance Mom. And, she was like, they plucked her off the internet and she was like, she just did these goofy dances and they put her on the show. First, like, Deborah Vance doesn't want to put her on the show, but then they kind of Hail Mary onto the show. And the audience loves her and stuff. So they keep bringing her back. And then it slowly, she starts to unwind and she's like doing drugs and fucking everybody and partying. And she goes completely Hollywood. And they're like, what are you doing, Dance Mom? What about your kids? And she's like, I don't have any kids. They're like, you're Dance Mom. And she's like, I'm the mother of dance, but that was taken. So I went with Dance Mom. She deserves an Emmy nod for Paradise and for Hacks. She was absolutely fucking wonderful in both shows this year. What else did I watch?
Did you strap in for Andor or no?
I watched the first 2 episodes, but I've got to finish. Grown-up Star Wars.
Yep.
That's the thing. It's like I saw Ryan Reynolds is like, I want to make an R-rated Star Wars. I was like, they just did. Like that's what Andor is. R-rated, but not like, look at that fucking titty. It's R-rated and like, this is so boring. Like not boring, like this is terrible, but it's just like they're talking about grown-up things. No child would enjoy this Star Wars. You know what I'm saying?
It's the Star Wars that is actually about taxation and
yes. Yeah, where George Lucas is like, oh, and y'all came down on me. Please. I'm not saying Andor is boring. I'm saying a child would not enjoy. Like, would not. You could show a kid Andor, and they wouldn't be like, "That's Star Wars." So by that, yeah, it's grown up, man. That makes it to me the R-rated Star Wars. And
Although I would like the scene where, like, Krennic is like, what should we call it? What should we build our giant Death Star, we're gonna call it? What if it's a big titty?
Yeah.
What if it's got what if the nipples are laser?
It's the death boob.
It's the death boob.
Yiddies and yeah, man. Now I'm fucking terrified that the internet's gonna pull that piece off and be like, fucking Silent Bill says Andor is boring. I did not mean that it was boring to an adult or to me.
No.
I'm a big Tony Gilroy fan. I love Michael Clayton.
If I was 8 years old.
You show me a child that's like, I love me some Andor. I've got my Andor figures and shit. They're arguing and they're alliancing. They're allies.
Yeah. Okay, so we're doing the French Resistance, but in Star Wars.
Smart. Totally smart. But
if there's an 8-year-old interested in that, you should have that 8-year-old looked at.
Sell it. Try selling a kid that fucking action figure.
I saw a great video on the internet. There's an action figure customizer called Funky McClunky, who I had him do an action figure of me that I showed a few episodes back, I think, while you were on the road. He put a video up of Cyril, a custom old school like 80s version of Cyril and Dedra that he made and 3D printed and painted, and was doing the Spaceballs scene with those two characters with the action figures, like filmed exactly like Spaceballs. It was fantastic and had tons of views. So look up Funky McClunky if you want to see exactly what you were just describing with, Dedra, I can't wait to show you my office, and ridiculous stuff like that.
In chat, James Brown says Tony Gilroy could be making political thrillers about real things, and Andor is what we get. I mean, like, life is long. Tony Gilroy will make a lot of things, but right now.
And also, Andor is the most about real things ever. Like, and
yeah,
is very much about America right now, and like. It's the great work is what he's doing.
Like the best sci-fi, people don't notice it while it's happening and stuff.
Yeah, except when Mon Mothma gives a big speech about how the eradication of information is how evil takes root. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, that's the minute we can call the truth into question is the minute evil wins. Like, yeah, no, that's not about Star Wars, you guys.
It's about Google's new AI, right?
Yes, it's about Grok.
Not Grok. Did you see that fucking shit last week where Google came up with an AI that can create like a movie that has background actors and ambiance and like,
yeah,
fucking nuts, man.
And like, I'm not happy about it as a person who likes movies and television shows made by human people who know how to do that. I'm way more concerned about like the people who will use that to influence a political process, or worse, to be like, hey, Mrs. Bernardin, here's footage of your son being held hostage. Send us $20,000 right now. And it looks just like me. And my mom won't know the difference. Like, that's the shit that scares me.
Well, now you got fucking me scared, man. That never occurred to me. Fuck. There's one more thing to worry about.
Yeah, thanks, Internet.
What do you think it's going to take for, our government or another government to be like, unplug everybody? We're not doing the internet anymore.
I mean, the EU is starting to get closer than we ever will. And I was listening to a commentator today talking about Germany is leading the charge because Germany has lots of experience with autocratic despots who want to control the flow of information for the use of subverting a society. So they know the evils of image manipulation that way. We now have a bill that's about to go through Congress that has no protections against AI, and we can't even write a law protecting against AI for the next 10 years. And that is probably going to pass because somebody really likes tech bros and wants to let them have whatever they want. So,
Maxwell Lord again, huh?
yay! Speaking of AI, though,
Yes.
I did see Final Reckoning: The Last Mission Impossible, which was a lot of Mission Impossible.
Wait, this is the last one ever.
Allegedly, theoretically, according to Tom Cruise right now, it is the final reckoning, and his final role is Ethan Hunt. Spoilers, they don't kill him. They don't even sideline him. He saves the world. So he can, if he decides to, be Ethan Hunt again in 2 years. If he can convince anybody to give him that much money to make another movie like that again.
This was an expensive motion picture. Perhaps not as expensive as the Jeeters Jay and Silent Bob joint that's going to be released on National Donut Day, June 6th, powered by Blunt Man's Chronic. A collab, as the kids say, at your local weed stores, wherever Jeeters is sold.
So that's gonna cost you like $300 million to get one of those.
I mean, well, it's a huge joint, Mark.
I mean, all right, never mind.
Hand rolled, Mark.
Rolled fresh.
And there's like a rosin stick in the middle. So
then asked and answered. I rest my case.
Man, oh man. I do not know if I am going to see this movie theatrically. No, fucking disrespect whatsoever to Mr. Cruise and stuff, but I think I watched the last one at home.
I mean, there is some astonishing shit in it. There are some
I mean, I ain't shitting on those movies. I think they've always been watchable, although he seems to have, he seems to think that the only way he's going to convince people to come see these movies is if he nearly kills himself doing them.
Yeah.
Like, look at this shit. I'm hanging off a plane. Look at this shit. I jumped off a cliff. Look at this shit. I'm full of self-doubt, so I'll eventually catch up to it. But like I said, it's been Dogma for the last month for me. Although I did see Thunderbolts.
Did you like the Thunderbolts?
I loved it. I thought it was wonderful. I had no idea that it was going to be a Marvel mental health movie.
Yeah.
I thought that was absolutely lovely, man.
I appreciate it when they do realize every now and again that the stakes can be personal and do not have to be global.
Yes.
And it's like, and how do we deal with the bad guy? Just fucking therapy, man. Just talk. Don't be alone.
Yeah. I loved it. I watched it at Smod Castle while I was in the middle of the tour at one point. And it was just absolutely lovely. So I enjoyed the fuck out of that. But I just read an article that it's the second lowest grossing Marvel movie of all time after the Marvels.
Yeah.
Which is a bummer to me because, I thought it was really strong work.
Yeah. I mean, and it's hard to know what to attribute it to other than, coming so close on the heels of Captain America: Brave New World, which did much better, but was a much worse movie. And so it's possible that there was just I don't need more of this. Like, I went to that last one. It wasn't great. I'm good for a while. Call me when Fantastic Four shows up. Which is too bad because it is a ton of fun. And I will watch Florence Pugh do almost anything. She was
really, really good.
Yeah.
Like she's I don't think she's ever done anything where I'm like, meh. Like she's she's a pretty big talent for somebody who's so,
she seems small.
Little. Yeah. I mean, she's standing next to like David Harbour and you're like, wow, either he's big or she tiny. But she's like a titanic talent. Like she's, I thought that performance was pretty wonderful for a comic book movie.
Yeah, even through the accent, like she's still giving a lot.
And I read someplace online where like she, took a pay cut to do the movie or something. Like she wanted to do it so bad, she was like, "You don't have to pay me this much."
No, that's great.
And I think she did the same for that. What was it? The something darling movie? Don't worry, darling, or whatever. Remember that movie?
Oh yeah, that
Harry Styles. I read someplace he made more than she did, and I was like, "How does that make sense?"
Yeah, that's. I mean, I yeah. How does that make sense? Unless it's just we're gonna get all those Styles fans, all of those pop music fans are gonna come to see Harry Styles make his acting debut. But
Hazy Wave in chat says Florence is wasted in Marvel movies. I mean, I wouldn't say wasted. I mean,
yeah,
it's nice that she enjoys, like, fucking bringing her immense talents to material that most people wouldn't think deserve that sort of thing. Hey, man, let's talk rumor mill for a minute. I want to see if you heard this.
what you got?
I mean, I've read this online, so this ain't like inside info and shit, but it was over the course of while I was gone. And I was like, oh, there was a rumor about who's going to be Magneto in the next incarnation of the X-Men, the MCU X-Men.
Ooh, what was your what did you hear?
The last name you would ever fucking think would show up in a Marvel movie. Now, I don't know if that means like they're, just going after this cat or this cat has any interest whatsoever, but
DJ Qualls.
Wow. Excellent pull. And you know what? That would be more shocking than the name I'm about to say. You just blew the curve, so I'm just going to say it out loud. Daniel Day-Lewis.
Oh, that's a reach, but okay.
I mean, a reach in what way? Like, he'll never do it.
That reach,
Because in terms of like being able to act the part, I think he might be able to find it, Mark.
Yeah. I mean, and it's also apparently Magneto must be a British statesman actor, like, because I, in my heart of hearts, was like, is he going to say Bryan Cranston? Because I would watch a Bryan Cranston Magneto all day long.
I don't know. It feels like he should be like British and stentorian or something like that.
I mean, I guess, except he's German if we're going canon.
Are they gonna do that this time around?
Unclear. It depends, I suppose, on when you said it.
I mean, I'm not saying don't do it, but it's like we're getting further and further from World War II. I'm not saying like, and I don't know if you know this, Mark, but after World War II, we never heard from the Nazis again. But that's, primarily where the origin has always been for Magneto. I mean, so what are you going to do? Like, sooner or later, Magneto is going to be like 102 years old.
Although, if I remember correctly, that itself was an innovation, that he was a survivor from the concentration camps.
When did that come into play?
I feel like that was a Claremont edition in the 80s. And so I don't think it was initially part of the character's origin story. But I think it has since become canon, and you now can't deviate from it, despite the fact that it becomes less and less logical unless you start doing shit. Well, given he controls the metal in his own blood, he ages slower than everybody else, or whatever that is. He has to
you just fixed it for me. Thank you, writer. There it is. That's how Daniel Day-Lewis can play Magneto going forward.
I have the power of magnetism, and also I age slower because magic.
You got somebody screaming at us in chat. Seamus McClellan says Daniel Day-Lewis is Irish.
Yes, he is.
Got a point.
My bad.
Bamf.
Christopher Waltz is Magneto.
Yes, Bamf man.
Apparently, Magneto backstory: the Holocaust survivor was added in the late 70s to the character.
Does it say by whom?
It does not I did not find
Claremont
who
wasn't
did it.
writing in the late 70s.
No, we came in the 80s, I think. Like
Came hard in the 80s, all over our face, neck, and chest.
85, maybe. So my bad. I'm not sure who was writing in the 70s.
While we're fact checking Marc, Banff man, can you look up Dumbo and see how that did? I think Marc made that movie a hit, and I'm really bumping into that. Even an hour later, I was like, I don't think that's the case, Marc.
Mike, I think you're making shit up, buddy.
353 million.
I mean, look, that's more money than I've ever made, but what was the budget?
170 million.
I mean, technically, that if you double up, how does that not like count? I mean, I'm not saying like everyone got rich, but at least it sounds like they made their money back. Could you Google, is Dumbo live action Dumbo considered a hit?
Computer? Is Dumbo?
Grok.
I mean, it's not a blockbuster the way Aladdin did.
Google's AI overview says generally considered a financial underperformer or near a bust, but not a bust.
Sounds like my entire career. But you know what? That's better than in my head. In my head, it was like, oh, that movie died. So we're closer. Marc's closer to the truth than I was.
Yeah, and it's a solid like on base, but not a fucking home run.
But how did 101 Dalmatians do? I mean, we know it got to 102 Dalmatians, but what was their box office? They certainly don't get to 1 billion, but
yeah, I don't think so.
400 worldwide.
101 live action did 320 million on a $67 million budget, though.
Worldwide?
Worldwide.
I mean, and I'm sure they were all like, holy shit.
That's 96, though. What did
That's
any
true.
movie do a bit like?
No.
That's pre-Star Wars Episode
rarely.
1, right? That's pre-Dogma.
Yeah.
That's pre-Star Wars Special Edition.
Yeah.
That's pre-Chasing Amy.
What year is it? 96?
96.
Wow.
So it did 300 million and way back.
Yeah. Like I'm not even sure. Like Terminator 2 didn't make $1 billion. Like the biggest movies ever didn't make $1 billion in the 90s. Except for maybe Jurassic Park. Might have been the one to bump up against it. But, fucking 3 times its budget is kind of a hit no matter how you cut it. And if it costs 60 and made 300, then that's a all day long. We'll keep making these shits.
Terminator 2 is 520 worldwide.
In $93, right? $92?
In 1991.
$91.
So I feel like with inflation, that's like $80 billion today. That's like, if an egg used to cost 10 cents and now it's $5.
I mean, I'd rather light a candle than curse y'all's darkness, but just saying, I'm happy to be a vegan in these very expensive egg times.
Yep.
Jurassic
in your face. Go ahead.
Jurassic Park lifetime gross, according to Box Office Mojo, $357 million.
In 92 money?
In 93.
How much?
So 357. So right around
Jurassic
101 Dalmatians.
Jurassic Park and 101 Dalmatians made the same amount of money worldwide.
Yeah.
I mean, with a gun to my head, I would have been like, oh, Jurassic Park by a country mile.
Jurassic World did 652 million.
Is that the one with
First Chris Pratt? Yeah.
Chris Pratt.
Really? Is that domestic or that's worldwide?
It
I like that fucker got to $1 billion. Maybe I'm wrong.
Jurassic Park opened in 2,500 theaters. Jurassic World in 4,300 theaters.
Yeah, worldwide, Jurassic World made $1.6 billion.
Okay, so this is domestic.
Yeah. All right, so then go back to Lady.
Okay. So, yeah, worldwide, Jurassic Park just crossed 1 billion. 1.058.
What about 101 Dalmatians worldwide?
Scintillating podcasting.
Hey man, I don't see anybody bitching in comments. Nobody's sitting there going, "Why don't you guys stop looking shit up?" And in fact, I bet people are like, "This is the best show you guys have ever done." I too have always wondered how much.
Kevin, Marc, listen to JC Google shit.
1996.
320 worldwide is 101 Dalmatians.
How much?
320.
Yeah, 320.
That was the worldwide figure.
Yeah.
All right, so good to know that Jurassic Park made a damn sight more than fucking 101 Dalmatians. I'm glad we followed that through, because I could be someplace, somewhere going, cocktail party. Did you know that Jurassic Park made as much money as 101 Dalmatians? Somebody's like, no, it didn't. Fucking Glenn Close apologist asshole. I was like, are you sure? So wait a second.
Yes.
The Glenn Close, I'm sorry, we'll get off this, but the Glenn Close 101 Dalmatians.
Yes.
Was made in 1996.
Yes.
And then Cruella with La La Land was made in what, 2021, 22,
21.
21.
Yeah. And I remember it made bank. Like, it was, even though it did get an online release, it's like in conjunction with theatrical release, I think it still did really well.
233 on $100 million budget.
Yeah.
What, for Cruella?
For Cruella. Which is pretty good, because it came out 5 years after 101. Oh no, 2021. Do the math. 15 years.
It came out 15 years after that shit.
Yeah.
But it was also like, that's theatrically when movie theaters are still not back yet. Because I think it was like Cruella and then like No Way Home, or was it Doctor Strange 2? One of those was the like, oh shit, we can go back to the movies. Oh shit, we can go back to the movies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jen went and saw Cruella. So that was like the crossing the threshold. The like normie went back to the movies with that.
In chat, Strika11 says, Kevin hating Andor is so bizarre. I do not hate Andor. Stop fucking spreading that rumor. I said it's probably boring to a child. Moving on. Kevin Nelson 66 said, JC should do a podcast where he just Googles random stuff for a couple hours. I'm there for it.
It's like the least interesting parts of the Matrix.
Stanley goes, more numbers. That's absolutely right, kids. So wait a second. Cruella got a sequel? No.
Maybe one was in development, but I'm not sure it ever happened.
Poisonous Plants 15 said the guy who made Cruella is making Supergirl. Is that right?
Sure. I believe it if chat says it.
Cruella 2 is confirmed and expected to be released in theaters in 2025.
With Homegirl in it?
At another 6 months. Get on it.
Emma Stone told People.com filming is a work in progress and will hopefully begin sooner rather than later. So that's probably a little bit old news.
Yeah.
Max Flane chat goes, breaking news. Kevin Smith says kids hate Andor. James Brown said the sequel to Cruella became Supergirl. Hey man, have you, speaking of Supergirl, have you seen that, distant footage? Now we can't trust anything. We can't have anything nice anymore because AI creates shit. Like, I've been beaten by so many clips that are like, look what leaked off of Avengers Doomsday. And you're like, oh, and then you realize somebody was like, Grok, can you make a clip where Robert Downey Jr. is dressed like fucking, we're going to be dealing with fake clips forever, man. Curse.
It's going to be like every day is April Fool's Day. And so nothing can be believed on the internet anymore.
But there was a distant shot of Momoa in Lobo gear.
Ooh.
And it looked fucking cool. I mean, I can't believe we do live in a timeline where the universe corrected itself. And they're like, look, we know he was Aquaman, but he should have probably been Lobo the whole time. So now he's going to be. That's fucking nuts to me.
And we will just memory hole all of Aquaman. Just like forget that they ever happened. What are you talking about?
Movie made $1 billion.
Yep.
Like
first one. It's
yeah. Second one, not so much.
Less so. So news.
Yeah. All right.
As you previously mentioned, Ryan Reynolds wants an R-rated Star Wars.
Hold on. Peter A is saying, isn't it 25 years between 101 Dalmatians and Cruella? I think you're right. Banff Man hit us with that fucking 15. I just let it ride because I don't math, but
well, it's more like 29 years. It was 96 and we're in no, never mind. Fucking 25. I don't math well either. Stanley wants you to go to the Superman premiere, Kev.
I wanted to. Can I? Yeah. How can I go?
I don't know.
He just wants me to show up and be like, I'm here. Let me see this.
There was another story out of that number one on the call sheet.
Look at this shit. You know what that is?
Who that young man?
That's a fucking badge for Cannes, bitch.
Ooh.
Festival du Cannes.
Un film, un cinéma. Programme officiel. Oh, le Kevin Smith.
Look at all that fucking French.
Makes me want to smoke a cigarette.
This year. It does, man. All right, enough humble bragging.
Cahiers du cinéma. Oh, bien sûr. Yes.
You know what? I'm going to wear my lanyard.
You fucking should, man.
So I can get into the American Pavilion on the Croisette. Look at this shit. This is what I look like hanging out on the fucking French Riviera. I'm like, hello, everybody. Have you seen my badge?
I have the laminate.
Back to you.
Yes. So Ryan Reynolds has apparently pitched Disney on an R-rated Star Wars property.
How do you feel about this?
I mean,
I'm all for it. I ain't against it. I'm not like, we got to stop this, but it just doesn't seem necessary. Again, as we said up at the top, in an Andor world, that feels like grown-up Star Wars. I mean, R-rated Star Wars should be grown-up Star Wars, right? It's not like, let's make it R-rated so they can say, you know, pussy to each other. Like, presumably it'll deal with adult themes, maybe some sexiness or whatever the fuck. So, isn't that Andor?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what adding the thing.
Andor, hated by children, loved by adults.
Although if it was Andor with titties, then I think kids would be like, hold on.
That's true. I might be done with it by now. Instead of at episode 2, I might be like, honey, you ready to watch the Star Wars titty show?
Oh man,
if we get the Star Wars titty show in our lifetime, then I believe it will prove that we are in a simulation.
We very much, yes. Like,
and one of us may be running the simulation.
It sure as shit won't be Kathy Kennedy. She's not signing off on Star Titties anytime soon.
Man, oh man, I don't. I'm. If they want to do it, I'm all for it. I just don't think it's.
Yeah. Ryan's quote is something like, it doesn't have to be overt. There's a wide range of characters you could use, and I don't mean R-rated to be vulgar, R-rated as a Trojan horse for emotion. I always wonder why studios don't want to just gamble on something like this. I don't quite understand what that means, but Okay.
Kingsport Cal in chat says, I want a shirt. Andor, hated by children. Fucking Roger 5171 pointed out opening scene in Andor was in a titty bar. Was it?
It was unclear if it was a titty bar or if it was a bit of a whorehouse.
Is it brothel?
Vamp Man?
Yeah. Yeah, it was
It's
a brothel. Yeah.
I mean, so close.
You could argue that the brothel is a little more extreme than a titty bar.
I mean,
you know what though? Ryan Reynolds could be onto something because a fucking Star Wars movie about a fuck droid, like a R2D2 size droid whose job it is just to fucking take it.
so what you're telling me is you just want Boogie Nights, but Star Wars.
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit.
It's my big hit.
The robot's like, I want to fuck now, Jack. It's my hard dick, and I want to fuck now.
It's my telescoper arm, Jack.
People are like, have you ever seen Star Wars? Your robot sounded like a robot out of 50s sci-fi.
Well,
like, why doesn't your robot sound like Alan Tudyk? Well, because I'm not as talented as Alan Tudyk, okay? Like I tell my wife every night in bed, I'm not as talented as Alan Tudyk. I'm Kevin One Dick.
Do you want to know the odds that you will not be able to finish the sex scene? They're very high.
Cassian told me to say that.
So yeah,
all right.
That's what he wants. Stranger Things 5. There was a big, Netflix had their To-Doom special event.
Yeah, they kind of like, what's the Star Wars thing? A celebration, not Star Wars,
D23.
Sounds like Netflix has their own D23 where they're like, fucking San Diego Comic-Con, my ass. We're going to turn it into an event. We're going to broadcast it. And we're going to invite everybody in town except Kevin Smith.
Right.
Wah, wah.
But they announced the Stranger Things 5 release date.
Now, will I have to have seen Stranger Things 1, 2, 3, and 4 in order to enjoy 5, Mark?
Yes.
Seems like I have some work ahead of me.
You have to go back and live in like 1984, forever and ever. Rather than release Stranger Things weekly, they've decided that season 5 of Stranger Things, the final season of Stranger Things, will have a 3-volume release strategy where the 8-part season 5 will launch on November 26th, probably 3 episodes of that. The second part is launching in Christmas 2025 with a finale on New Year's Eve. Or you could just release one a week and just be fucking television. Or release them all at once if you're just going to be Netflix. But this weird, like, here's 3, here's 2, here's another one. Feels like the weirdest fucking thing.
They gotta milk it. I mean, those kids are already in their 40s. They have to, if they could just hang on for 2 more minutes.
Quick, castrate those boys.
I'm pretty sure all those boys are in menopause by now. The show's been on forever. Like, it's funny whenever they show them from season 1 versus like season now, and they look like their parents.
I mean, like, they all have to get their fucking colonoscopies at this point.
That's true. They're gonna beat me in there. What was the Ben and Matt thing? I saw a very cute thing they did with Cookie Monster, man.
Yeah, it's called.
Apparently Sesame Street's going to Netflix now.
It is, because we have destroyed the fabric of American society. Because you'll remember, you were a kid like I was. PBS was a public good. Yeah. And Sesame Street was just a thing that we got because we lived in America and it took care of us. And then the federal government kept cutting all of the funding to PBS, and now it had to go private. HBO bought the rights to Children's Television Workshop and
We
was
remember that.
producing that. They then stopped it because Zaslav doesn't like nice things and was like, we don't want children's programming. Fuck
Yeah,
them.
he seems to like they don't seem to have a thing for kids there.
No, he was
Like,
very
got rid of like Cartoon Network and shit.
very much the fuck them kids version of programming. And so
Bah,
then Netflix,
humbug.
so much. So then Netflix swooped in and was like, we will help support the thing that is kind of necessary. Although now you have to have Netflix in order to watch the Muppets, which still feels wrong.
They won't have like HBO let them have a life on YouTube.
They might. I'm not sure yet what the arrangement is. If the Children's Television Workshop can upload episodes to YouTube for free, it should be accessible to anybody. The point of Sesame Street specifically was to help inner city kids who do not have access to that much after school programming and potentially dodgy school systems still have a way to ingest educational programming. And
I know that was the intent, but I'll tell you right now, some suburban kids learned a thing or two as well. And here's what I know to be true in this life, Marc. A loaf of bread, a container of milk, and a stick of butter.
I also know that I cannot count to 12 if it's not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then the Pointer Sisters have to be singing that song for me in my head.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
7, 8, 9, 10,
10,
11, 12. Do, 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 do. And it's a pinball machine and everything's right with the world.
God, they really did raise a generation of kids, man.
Yeah, generations of kids.
Generations of kids. But, you know, is that even possible anymore? I guess we'll never know since the government's like, well, we're going to stop funding it.
And Helena Rubinstein is dead.
And to be fair, that's not even like, hey, man, this administration, like they've been hacking away at fucking PBS for decades now.
Yeah.
Remember when Mr. Rogers saved it? You want to feel inspired, kids? Go watch his fucking speech on YouTube where Mr. Rogers sits in front of the what? Some Senate subcommittee or whatever.
House Oversight Committee or whatever.
House Oversight Committee to make the argument for like public broadcasting for children's television.
Yeah.
It's like they when they made that Mr. Rogers movie, was that a scene in it? Did they end the movie with that or no?
No.
Because man, oh man, that's like tailor made for a fucking.
Yeah, I don't remember if it's in it. The movie definitely doesn't end that way. But yeah, I've seen all that documentary footage of him, you know, testifying in front of a senator who's just like, explain to me why the government should pay for you to have a TV show. What do we get out of this? And it's fucking both inspiring and heartbreaking.
And honest, because Fred Rogers is like, look, if you fund PBS, you will own King Friday's entire empire. Like, what are you balking for? For the minimum investment into public broadcasting, you will own a king in your back pocket, a magic trolley, fucking X the Owl. Like, what was the other ladies or the puppet?
Lady Elaine. Lady Elaine was like the one with the boomerang.
And she had the drunk
nose. Yeah.
He did the voices for all of them. He was Daniel Tiger and shit like that. Betty Aberlin, who, speaking of Dogma, coming to theaters Thursday, fucking 2 days from now, you can see Dogma again on the big screen, kids. At a theater near you, go to dogmamovie.com for tickets. Betty Aberlin plays the nun at the top of the movie that Matt talks out of being a nun. And she was Lady Aberlin. She was like one of the only human beings on that got to go to King Friday's kingdom on fucking Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Lucky.
Television royalty, man. Let me tell you this. I watched something and somebody said something about it. Oh, did you watch the Pee Wee Herman doc?
Not yet. I'm waiting to get my heart broken.
Oh, it won't break your heart. It'll make your heart sore. Yeah, it's heartbreaking in as much as you're like, oh, I wish he was still alive. But the story is like, it's wonderful. Yeah, I enjoyed it. 2 parts, worth your time.
Yeah.
Now,
I'd fallen
the Christopher
behind.
Reeve documentary, I know, is waiting to break my heart, and I've been putting that off. But I'm getting close to the moment where I'm like, all right, do it to me. I almost watched it on the plane on the way back from Nice. Where we went from Nice to Charles de Gaulle, and from Paris back home. Right. But you know what I did watch? Oh fuck. I don't know why. I was like, you know, it's a long ass flight to get there. You know, you go 5 hours to JFK and then 7 hours straight to Nice. So I watched Coco.
Oh.
Which, God damn it, if that's not honestly like probably my favorite Pixar movie. It is so fucking wonderful. So imaginative, so full of love, so full of like life lessons and family. It's just so fucking perfect. Then I watched a movie I've never seen, but heard about for years and know the songs too. Frozen. Have you seen this picture?
Yeah.
A lot of white people. Nothing wrong with that.
I mean, all white people.
Yes, it was crazy. I was sitting there watching the movie. Something feels weird. And then I was like, oh, what's going on? I enjoyed it, but not nearly as much as Coco. I know it's not, they're apples and oranges, and one's a Disney, one's Pixar, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And I love the songs and fucking like, I thought it was beautiful that it wasn't true love's kiss between like, you know, a guy and a girl, but, you know, true love sisters was, you know, I enjoyed that. I don't know if they quite earned it, but whatever. I'm not here. I'll let Marc break the story down 13 years after the fact.
Have thoughts.
But the songs were bangers.
Yeah.
But fucking Coco, perfection. Yeah. I want a whole Coco verse.
It's interesting that because I remember
make 10 more Coco movies. Keep taking me to the land of the dead.
Just now I want hot Coco. I want rated R Coco.
Oh my God. Ryan Reynolds is like, I've got a pitch.
Coco
for rated R Pixar movies called Hot Coco. It's about Abuelita when she was young.
Hell yeah.
Her father's not around. She's an impressionable young girl. She falls for a, what do they call him?
Guitarista, caballero.
Yeah, she falls for a different caballero. Hot Coco. Oh my God, it was just sitting right there. Excellent job. Hot Coco. Ryan Reynolds presents Hot Coco, rated R.
Mi amor, I am no longer dead.
Ryan Reynolds presents Return of the Brown Eye, the first Star Wars R-rated, rated R.
Just about Jabba's pleasure barge.
Neba29 pointed out in chat, the actress who voiced the character in Coco just passed away.
Oh no.
Yeah, such a shame. Lastborn says hot toddy with Coco. R-rated Coco. James Brown says R-rated Coco is clear and present danger meets Scarface.
Jesus.
Jack says, Kev, watch a Book of Life. I was thinking about that. Did you ever see Book of Life?
I did.
How was it versus Coco?
They are not dissimilar movies in that it's both about a boy looking to travel to the land of the dead to sort of encounter past relatives. And, you know, somebody's got a guitar. Coco, I think, is definitely more Disney, and Book of Life is definitely more, because it was a Guillermo del Toro produced.
Yeah, it's a Guillermo movie, yeah.
So it's got some like deep mythology and it's got a little more fright to it. They do live side by side actually very nicely. They are like kind of really good companion pieces. But yeah, Book of Life is less, songs don't bang as much.
Right.
But you know, that's the one there's probably fucking going on just off camera. To the left.
Oh my God. Tiberius Rex 182 says John Redcorn and Dale Gribble died.
Yeah.
The voice that did Dale was about 2 years ago, but the voice of John Redcorn just got killed, right? Shot.
Yeah.
It looks like a hate crime incident.
Yeah.
Well.
Which is so sad.
Very sad. His fiance or his husband. Or
his husband.
Husband.
They've been getting harassed.
City saved his life.
Yeah. Awful.
Terrible, man.
In other incredibly trivial news compared to that, Marvel is skipping a big Hall H presentation at San Diego Comic-Con this year.
Yeah, what the fuck is this shit all about? I follow the Marvel panel.
Most of it is because it seems that when they pushed Avengers Doomsday from May 2026 to December 2026, they realized they would have another cycle of San Diego to sort of tout it and show it off. They'll have shot more, they'll be able to put together more. So like, listen, you know, maybe you don't need to be here this time. And also, Fantastic Four will have been just released. So they'll probably have some public screening down there, maybe. I don't know. Maybe they'll bring the stars in. Who can tell? But yeah, they're taking the year off from Hall H at any rate. There'll be Marvel game stuff, there'll be Marvel animation stuff, I'm sure, but the big here we go probably won't happen.
I mean, I get it, but you know, I was looking forward to that. Thought we were gonna probably see some cool ass footage, but yeah, with the move. Well, let's talk about that. We didn't really talk about that. When did the move happen last week?
Yeah, they announced it that, you know, it was shifting from May to December. Which also means that Secret Wars will also be shifting from May 2027 to December 2027. There was no real reason given beyond we just need more time, which is fair. Like giant fucking movies, maybe you don't want to crash into a, you know, year-long production and post-production cycle in order to make a release date of next May.
Good opportunity for DCU to get in there and fucking define Hall H and take it back for the year.
I mean, you know, the Superman will have just come out, but they will have Supergirl to talk about. Lanterns to talk about. Peacemaker, if they wanted to. Although DC has a very interesting or James Gunn and Peter Safran have a very interesting plan for what's coming next, which is big ass Superman movie, but that is not the first look at what the new DCU will be. That was Creature Commandos is our first new.
Yeah, that was their soft launch, was Creature Commandos.
Yeah, then Peacemaker, and then Superman, and then Supergirl, and then The Authority, maybe, or Sergeant Rock, maybe, or like Brave and the Bold, potentially. It does not seem to be a series of pitches right down the middle, which does feel like very James Gunn. Like very James Gunn is not necessarily a down the middle kind of guy, but even still, it's like, oh, what's coming next? Oh, I don't know. That's odd. Interesting, but odd. No new Wonder Woman? Nope. Clayface? Maybe.
Yeah, which Clayface? Basil Carlo?
Yeah, I mean, it's
the actor one.
If I had to guess, probably. Mike Flanagan is writing, but probably not directing. And oh yeah, the Batman 2 eventually will be in production at some point.
Team Dreg said something I thought. He goes, wasn't Blue Beetle supposed to still be part of Gunn's DCU? I think so. I remember correctly. Yeah. He was like, it's one of the first movies.
This hasn't been disavowed in the way that like the Aquaman stuff was. So yeah, maybe their big DCEU presentation as Supergirl, so that you get fucking Lobo and you get Millie Alcock as Supergirl.
When are the Emmys?
September, I believe. But voting
No,
starts.
must be coming sooner, right? Because there's all that FYC shit all over town.
I mean, voting, I think, will probably start, in the next few weeks, I think, for the nominations, and then the second round of voting for the winners. But yeah, it has been for your consideration season in Hollywood, where every other, like, if you're a member of the Television Academy, or even in any of the guilds, Directors Guild, Writers Guild, whatever, if you wanted to go to a screening and a Q&A and a party with past appetizers at any day of the last month and a half, you could have gone, because there's something for everything. I don't really roll with that shit that much. Every now and again, I'll pick one that I'm curious about, but I have friends who are like, I'm not buying dinner all month. I'm just going to eat fucking pigs and blankets.
It does feel early, man. A lot of this for your consideration stuff. I guess that's just because the season technically ended.
Yeah.
As if there aren't any seasons anymore. Poisonous Plant 15 says nominations come out July. Hopefully the Penguin gets some shit, man. That was really good. Jake Mattis in chat says, are we just ready for the Batman 2 to be canceled? Why is that a rumor?
They pushed production a year, I think.
Is that because Matt Reeves was sick or something?
I think the reasoning was never clear. It was just Matt Reeves is still working on the script. That there was some detour, but I don't think we've ever gotten a full, complete reason for that detour. So they just pushed it, and I think James Gunn is like, great, take the time you need. We're not in a rush for it. Although I'm sure Warner Brothers' bottom line would like a Batman movie.
I mean, really. Evan Fowler asks in chat, is Bruce Timm's Batman series continuing? The one on Amazon?
I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything. I thought I heard yes, though.
Yeah, I mean,
long time
ago. Yeah, I mean, I wrote an episode of the first season, but it was a freelancer. I was not on that staff, so I have no real insight into what is happening over there.
Team Dreg says, hey, Kev, I'm here in West Hollywood. Any parking suggestions when hitting up Runyon Canyon? So far, the struggle is real. If I'm you, I go up Outpost. Outpost is only like 2-3 blocks away from Runyon Canyon, and I park on Outpost. Plenty of parking. You have to walk a couple blocks, but everyone always tries to park right on Runyon Canyon, but good luck.
Yeah,
people live there, and then a lot of people come over there to go hike Runyon, so they park there. So I walk from my house. You can park at my house, leave your car here, walk over.
Yeah, like you can.
I will charge you $40.
But Jen, you got to stand out here and watch this dude's car for $40.
For $50, we'll buff it with a chamois.
Elsewhere in the news, that boy Tim Miller.
That boy Tim Miller, he's talented. He made that
talented.
Deadpool movie. That kid Tim Miller's got a future.
He wants a crack at the X-Men. He has decided and made it clear that he's like, I think the Marvel has a secret weapon they haven't been able to unveil yet, which is the whole X-Men universe, which is what got me into comics. He said the X-Men are my favorite characters. I wrote Kevin Feige, and I'm like, if there was ever anything to do in the Marvel universe, please, the X-Men would be it. Unclear what Kevin Feige's response to Tim Miller's request to do the X-Men was, other than the news that the Thunderbolts director is going to be directing the X-Men.
So the director of the Thunderbolts movie that I enjoyed is going to be making the first MCU X-Men movie?
Yep. Jake Schreier, his name is.
I mean, clearly he knows how to handle a team movie.
He does.
Bless you, puppy. Yeah, why not that guy?
Why not that guy?
Honestly, I like the hell out of fucking Thunderbolts. I look forward to watching it again at home. Got to be soon, right?
Yeah. I mean, Sinners is already on premium VOD.
Did you tell how did you do a whole Sinners show?
We did a whole show on Sinners, which I liked quite a bit, with some reservations, I think, because I always have reservations. But by and large, I mean, the magic trick of two Michael B. Jordans is handled about as well as you can handle that thing.
I didn't know that going in. I had no idea that
Yeah.
was the thing. I don't
Did
know
you
if I
like it?
saw the trailer. Was that revealed in the trailer? I imagine.
It was. They didn't hide
I
that.
didn't see the trailer. I went in pretty cold on Sinners, man.
Yeah, the first trailer gave away twins, did not give away vampires, and then the second trailer gave away vampires. But yeah, no, there's so much of that movie that I love, and there is that one scene in the middle of it, that like magical realism. We're doing our first big musical number at the juke joint, where we are swishing back and forth through time, like just so fucking beautiful. Like never seen anything quite like it.
Let's see. What else do we got?
And then the last bit of news that we did not cover, I guess the last time we did a show, because I was like on the verge of failing health, is that Jessica Jones is going to be back in the MCU. Kristen Ritter is reprising her role as a superhero turned private eye for the next season of Daredevil.
Did you finish Daredevil?
I did.
And
I did. Didn't love it, really. Like, I can barely remember what my issues were, other than, you know, it was the parts were better than the sum. And so when you got the Punisher, when you got Daredevil, when you got him engaging with that part of his life, it's a ton of fun. And fucking Barenthal always elevates everything. And Deborah Ann Wall back as Karen Page is phenomenal. But the middle of it felt just a little too Frankenstein together for real cohesion. It just didn't quite hold. But yeah, there are moments that are great that I had a lot of fun with. But on the whole, maybe season 2 will have a little bit more connective tissue.
Lord Mooby in chat says, best news I got today was Joey Lauren Adams coming to Chronicon. That's right, kids. Chronicon's in October. You'll see me and Marc there. But
Yep.
you'll also see Chasing Amy's Joey Lauren Adams. She just got announced. Tickets at chroniconforreal.com. Yeah, she's going to be going this year.
So it's going to be a good time back in the Windy City.
Good ass time. Kids in chat, is there anything you feel we missed movie wise? Sandman season 2, not news, says, hey, ladyship. When's that happen?
July, I believe.
I'm ready. Did they do a trailer or something like that?
No, they announced it at Doom.
Oh, it was part of Doom.
Yeah. And they revealed some episode titles, 12 episodes this season.
The Rob Brown channel said, kids hate the cohesion of Daredevil.
They don't want it to make sense.
Doubt Barisha says, Billy Piper is the new Doctor Who.
Yes, I have not been following Doctor Who. It has never been my mother's milk. It wasn't a thing of mine as a kid, and I came to it late, and I dipped in and out. But yeah, the Ncuti Gatwa did 2 seasons and then handed it off to Billy Piper, who, if you were a fan of the Doctor Who, remember her as Rose.
Yeah. So is she coming back as Rose, or is she?
I don't know.
That's how they left it. They just showed her, and everyone was like,
regeneration, then it's Billy Piper, and then out, and then that will be somebody else's problem to pick up on.
That's interesting. How many seasons did they get with the last Doctor Who?
The last guy 2 seasons with Ncuti Gatwa, the first Black Doctor. Before that was
what's her name? Jodie what's her?
Whittaker, I think.
Whittaker. And then before that it was what's his name?
Peter Capaldi.
Yeah.
And I think Peter Capaldi got 3 seasons. Jodie got 2 seasons, if I remember correctly. Before that is Matt Smith.
And now it's a Disney show, right? Or something.
It's on Disney Plus. I'm not sure if they are the producers or that's just the venue for it. Um,
Did Loretta Swit pass away?
she did indeed.
How sad, man. It was a big part of our childhood. Hot Lips.
Hot lips.
MASH. That was a film, a TV show that kids did not enjoy.
Well,
Two
I think
things
they did
kids, two things
was-
kids can't relate to, Mark. Andor and MASH.
I mean, but also fucking we had to watch MASH because we had 3 channels and that's what was on. And
Whenever that theme song kicked in, I got so sad. Number one, Suicide is Painless is a pretty sad song. But number two, you see that helicopter coming over, it just meant all the fun was over. Now it was the grown-up time. We're grown-ups, we're going to sit around and say things to each other. And it had a very inconsistent laugh track. Do you remember that about MASH?
did they eventually drop it or was it just like we're yucking it up in the OR and we
They
get
sometimes they used it and then sometimes they didn't. Maybe they didn't use it at all when they were in the emergency room. I can't remember, but I just remember it was an inconsistent laugh track. But people loved this show. But for me as a kid, it was the Andor of my childhood. An inscrutable adult mess that I wanted no part of as a child.
I will say more jokes than Andor.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's a shame about Loretta Swit, man.
Yeah.
Jake Mattis said, any King of the Hill talk? We talked about the 2 people that have passed. But they haven't started that yet, have they?
No, they announced the release date, which is soon.
Is that a Tadum thing? Was that on Netflix?
That's Hulu. Hulu, because I think it comes out of Fox Animation. So it lives in the sort of 20th Disney Hulu ecosphere.
Stanley asked her, are you excited for Ballerina and the Phoenician Scheme? I mean, I'll see them at home. I'm not going to rush out and see those in the theater. Not because they're not good enough for me, but I got some shit to do.
You got to be on the road again.
Yeah, I am going back out on the road, man.
Ballerina Friday morning.
But is Ballerina open Friday?
Yeah.
Say,
I think it does Phoenician.
So Ballerina and fucking Dogma going head to head?
They are indeed.
Let me tell you something, kids. This weekend is a rare opportunity at the box office. It's like a, fucking one of those like what is it, golden birthday or something like that, where it only happens once in your lifetime. Old Ben Affleck is in theaters right now in The Accountant 2. Young Ben Affleck is going to be in theaters this weekend when Dogma opens. Old Ben Affleck, young Ben Affleck in a battle at the box office, maybe for the first time ever. Is like that Will Smith movie nobody saw.
Gemini Man.
That's the one.
This is very much
Old Ben Affleck versus young Ben Affleck this weekend. And Ballerina in there as well. And so wait, Phoenician Experience, what is it?
The Phoenician Scheme.
That's open. That was in Cannes.
Was it?
Yeah.
Did you see anything else while you were there? Or were you just there for Dogma time?
I did not. All I saw was Dogma, and I saw a bunch of journalists while I talked about Dogma. Yeah, that was it. I didn't get to see any movie. It's like while I was there, I was telling my kid, I said, I don't think I've ever seen many movies at Cannes that weren't the movie I was there for. And I saw Pulp Fiction and an off the Quasette screening before it debuted in competition. And I remembered the year that I was there with Clerks 2, I saw Richard Linklater's film, Southland Tales, there. And I was in that movie, though. So I don't know if that counts. But I saw X-Men The Last Stand in the main theater at the Palais. Yeah, and I was like, I happen since I was in town and I had a tux anyway for like Clerks 2. I was like, oh fuck it, let's go. So I saw that movie in Cannes, if you can believe that.
If ever there was a Cannes-worthy film, it's
There
X-Men.
it was.
Before we tap out of the news, we should end, as we are doing way too often days, with a bit of an obit, with a bit of an
I was
R-rated.
going to say, other than Loretta Swit, there's one that's probably closer to home.
Yeah, Peter David.
The late great Peter David, kids. Peter David, who gave us Smart Hulk, amongst other things, gave us Spider-Man 2099, gave us a lot of the stuff from the Aquaman lore that they used in the movie about Atlantis and whatnot, who helped define Supergirl, and they borrowed some of that stuff for the TV show. Passed away. Used to write But I Digress for the Comic Buyer's Guide, CBG, is that it?
Yeah.
Yes. Marvel legend. How did he go?
Cause of death at the time of his passing was not revealed. Survived by his wife, Kathleen O'Shea David, did not at the time provide a cause of death, but he was 68 years old. He had been sick for a long while. In the last 15 years, he had a stroke in 2012, diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, kidney failure, mild heart attack. In 2022, there was a GoFundMe that was established because ordinarily, historically, comic books do not take care of their veterans very well. There are no real pension plans. There are no 401ks. Despite having written 20 years of best-selling books, there was not much to fall back on. And when you have a series of health issues like that, apparently, Medicaid had dropped him, back in 2025, but back in May 2025. And so
What, last year? You mean last year, 2024?
According to this write-up, on May 20th, 2025, his wife, Kathleen, relaunched the GoFundMe, saying that like Medicaid was not covering his long-term disability and they just dropped him. So it remains a sad thing. It's why there's a hero initiative that the Comic Book Legal Defense Fund and all of these organizations that just kind of exist to help provide kind of care for these veterans who comics did not take care of. You would think that in a world in which Marvel is making billions of dollars a year on these movies, part of that could just be set aside for some of these veteran creators who have created things that they have profited off of, and just like drop in the bucket some version of comic books on Social Security. It has not come to pass, and so more and more we're hearing of these guys in the sunset of their lives who just do not have the resources they need to take care of themselves.
And I mean, this isn't even a case of like, oh, this is the guy that created Superman, like Siegel and Schuster, where you hear those stories and it's heartbreaking. Like, this is a guy that was working like up until fairly recently. This is a guy who was working like in the 90s. This is a guy who wrote for Star Trek. What was the other? He had his own TV show, Space Cases. Like, it's just, you could work your entire life, and at the end of the day, fuck, man, poor health can take you down financially and otherwise. That's fucking heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Nerd Large says comic artists need a union. Yeah,
they've tried.
Writers.
There have been efforts in the past to unionize, but the problem is, I think there are lots of problems with it, but the biggest one is that you cannot, even if we formed a union, it's hard to control the labor. If every American comic book artist decide they want to be in a union, then Marvel and DC go to somewhere overseas. They'll go to Japan, they'll go to Argentina, they'll go to the Philippines, they'll go to Indonesia and find other artists to do the work. And so if you cannot put a throttle on the work, then you cannot collectively bargain. And that is the strength of a union, which is you can go on strike. You can withhold labor in exchange for better conditions. And without the ability to do that, you can never really form a good union. And so, yeah, it's a problem that has not found a solution to it yet, but there should be one.
Hazy Wave pointed out in chat, Peter just did that Maestro trilogy the last few years. Maestro was when Hulk got old and smart and had the big old beard and stuff.
Indeed.
As we say on Hollywood Babylon, huge bucket of wind.
Indeed. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So yes, pour one out for Peter David.
Young Justice, they're pointing out in the chat, his work on the Young Justice cartoon is outstanding.
Yeah. X Factor he wrote as recently.
That's right, he was on X Factor.
You know, which is a good thing to remember in Pride Month, that he put a legit gay love story in the middle of X Factor with Shatterstar and Richter, and won a GLAAD award for doing so.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Future Imperfect is a great Hulk story. Victor Venn Diagram said. He's absolutely right. I remember that. Yeah, his Supergirl was fun too. Kabuki Kid said his Supergirl was quite fun. It really was. You know, like, William Mann in chat says more news. The Trump administration fired Librarian of Congress. Librarian picks 25 movies a year for the National Film Registry. The fired librarian, Dr. Carla Hayden, picked Clerks for it a few years back.
Yeah.
Well, that's heartbreaking.
Yeah, I think she was a Bush nominee. She's been at the post, or had been at the post, for like 25 years. The excuse of which being that she was putting things in libraries that should not be there, despite the fact that the Library of Congress is
like
not
Clerks in the library.
Yeah,
I mean, look, I'm almost with the administration on that. I'm like, I don't think that movie.
But yeah, for the same bullshit reasons that, like, you know, there's material in the kids section that shouldn't be read by kids. The Library of Congress is not a lending library. Like, that's not its purpose. Like, you cannot go in there and check out a thing in the wrong section. They fired her because she was a black lady who had a job that I'm sure some donator wanted. But that is neither here nor there.
Command Z says depressing beyond.
Cheers.
Max Flay says kids hate podcasts that make you sad. I mean, unfortunately, some sad shit happens, man. Danielle Steen says we're in the worst timeline. Tough to argue that.
Indeed.
All right, man.
Should we do some Q&A?
Let's do some Q&A. Bamf, man. What do we got?
Bamf. All right. Just to pull a complete 180, Ice-T fan says, who is your favorite Simpsons character?
Ooh. There's only 300 to choose from, right?
I mean, yeah, and I gotta say it's one of the core family. I mean, is it a cop out to be like, I love Homer?
I mean,
everybody loves Homer. I mean, what's not to love? But I mean, yeah, Homer's characters just gives you so many places to go. That's tough. That's a tough one. I'll be honest with you. But I'm going to go with Homer. I stand by it. Although I don't have any Homers hanging in my house. I have a Bart and a Lisa. I have a Bart and Nelson looking at Radioactive Man #1. I have a Matt Groening hand-drawn Maggie Simpson hanging up, framed. no Homer, but I fucking love the character, you know, and yeah, I probably Homer. It's tough though because I do love Lisa a lot. That fucking storyline from what was it, season 2, the episode with Dustin Hoffman,
Oh yeah.
the substitute, where he writes her that little note, "You are Lisa Simpson." Fuck, man, amazing story, and all of Lisa's stories are always kind of like heartfelt and shit. So yeah, it's tough for me. It might be a toss up between Homer and Lisa. What about you?
Um, I think I'm a Millhouse man. There's a tragedy to Millhouse that I do kind of love. You know, nothing is ever going to break his way, and yet there's always a smile kind of underneath it, which is just all right. You know what? Tomorrow's a new day. Everything will be coming up Millhouse tomorrow, just not today. I think there's something kind of sweet about that. Um, and one of my favorite jokes ever remains Chief Wiggum's when he picks up the phone. It's like, no, 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 this is 912. Like the chief of police who does not want to do police shit.
One of my favorite expressions in life is "everything's coming up Millhouse."
Indeed. Indeed. Good question, though.
Lord Movie just wrote "everything's coming up Millhouse" in chat.
Things coming to Millhouse.
I might go with Ralph Wiggum because he's got a bomb Star Wars collection.
He does. I bent my Wookiee. What's a diorama? King's Port Cal says Troy McClure. Fuck, man.
McBain.
Hi, I'm Troy McClure. He is. They talk about Phil Hartman in the Pee Wee doc.
Oh yeah.
So he was a big part of Paul Rubin's life, man. He co-wrote Pee Wee's Big Adventure with him. Not to mention he was like, what was Captain Carl?
Yeah.
But apparently they had a falling out.
Isn't that the way?
I mean,
Gaylord
Chuck
of the
D and
Rings.
Flavor Flav had a falling out. Fuck.
Gaylord of the Rings?
Gaylord of the Rings.
That's a great name.
Wants to know if either of you guys have ever met John Carpenter, and what's your favorite John Carpenter movie?
Have I ever met the great John Carpenter? No, but like I'm a massive fan and always like have been. I know, you know, like I was a huge fan of Halloween 2. I loved Halloween, don't get me wrong, but like, fuck, Halloween 2 was playing in heavy rotation on cable when we first got it when I was a kid. So I loved not just his directing, but I loved his score work. Like I like him as a musician and shit. So I had the Halloween 3 Season of the Witch score album that I would play and I would jerk off to, which is kind of haunting. Now that I think about it. Not really kind of music one jerks off to. If you're jerking off to the score from Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, like there's a good chance you may be antisocial or sociopathic, to say the least.
Listen, I can only come if I'm scared.
Yeah, basically is what it comes down to. I was like, I gotta wait for the moment. All right, this is where they discover their robots. Oh.
Supplies.
Watch the Magic Pumpkin. Watch. But yeah, I fucking love me some John Carpenter. I've been like, you know, early in my career, one of those Q&As, like I talked about not liking Escape from LA or something like that. You know, gave it some shit, but I think John Carpenter is absolutely fucking brilliant. And I also kind of respect how he conducts himself and shit. Like I saw some quote of his where he was talking about like, anytime they want to make one of my movies, that's fine. They cut me a check. I'm good.
Yeah. It feels like he's at the Stephen King school now. We're just like, you want to do it? Great. Pay me my money.
He just did the score for somebody else's thing. I forget what it was, but I was like, oh, that's a cool idea. Just bringing in Carpenter to score. What about you?
I mean, there's three, maybe four that kind of do live rent free. Big Trouble in Little China is probably my favorite of them.
Mm.
I don't think it's the best of them, but there is just such a weird fucking batshit crazy energy to that, which does it is the spiritual godfather of the Seth Rogen Green Hornet movie, in that it's
Which one?
Big Trouble in Little China.
Serious?
In that it's a movie about a partnership between these two people. One dude's an Asian who's an amazing fucking martial artist. The other one is a buffoon who's the white guy, who is nominally the hero, but it's super clear the Asian guy would be fine without him. And that was the relationship between Seth Rogen's Britt Reed and Jay Chew, I think it's Chew's Kato. But like fucking Kurt Russell is playing John Wayne, and that is the most fun. I love The Thing. I love Escape from New York. Like the past version of You, I wish that Escape from LA had been a little bit better and a little bit less cartoony. Um, and I love They Live. I think They Live is as strong a social satire that sort of science fiction has given us. I don't fuck so much with the later John Carpenter stuff. I think Prince of In the Mouth of Madness is really interesting. But then I think you get to, John Carpenter's Vampires, which is a little bit ridiculous, and Ghosts of Mars is kind of meh. But like when he was on his game, he was great.
Remember Prince of Darkness? I've got a message for you and you're not gonna like it. That was when he had that cool ass deal. I think it was with Universal, where he got to make a series of $3 million movies.
Yeah,
Just like great. Put budgets. So it was like Prince of Darkness, They Live. What was the other one? In the Mouth of Madness. I think In the Mouth was a New Line movie. But yeah, fucking a lot of people in chat said Starman, fucking wonderful movie. Jeff Bridges.
I mean, there was
red light stop, green light go, yellow light go very fast.
Yeah, there's a stretch there where he was as reliable a filmmaker as like Spielberg was, 1941 notwithstanding, but like the dude just didn't miss for a good 15 or 20 years, and understood what his lane was, but then was also willing to wildly deviate from it. Like Starman is not the movie you expect from the dude who did Halloween or the dude who did Escape from New York. And I kind of love that about him. Fucking dude made an Elvis miniseries. Like,
that's right. He did the Elvis miniseries with Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
So good.
And Christine is unlike anything else that
I love Christine, man. Like, yeah. I love the book and I love the movie.
There was a lot of juice. The Fog is fucking great. Yeah. I've never met him. I've always wanted to, but I never have. But I also am notoriously not great about meeting legends of genre. There's a time early in my one of the times I came to visit LA when I was a much younger man. I was out with a friend looking to have lunch. We stumbled into a bookstore, and there was a conversation between Ray Harryhausen and Ray Bradbury, and back when they were both still alive, and I walked out of it because I was hungry. That is the kind of nerd that I was, and had to exchange my nerd card for a croissant or whatever the fuck it was. Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed your fucking meal, Marc.
Both of us are going to die in the next 3 years, and you could have hung out and maybe talked to us, but instead chased your gut, you fat bastard.
What about you, Bamf?
Big Trouble in Little China, because it felt like a superhero movie when I saw it when I was a kid.
Yeah. It's so big. Like
it's ambitious, to say the least.
Yeah, the scope of it
also just has the weirdest sense of humor. Like his character, just like, I know he's doing like a John Wayne kind of thing, but it's it's so out of step with even the time the movie was made. Like,
Yeah, and the rest
throwback
of the movie.
performance in a throwback movie.
And very young Kim Cattrall.
That's right. Poisonous Plants 15 says Memoirs of an Invisible Man. It's the only person that said it. All right. What's our last one?
All right, last one. Alan Rasmussen. After so much talk about Disney animated movies being made as live action, what movie of any IP do you think would be better as an animated film?
Tusk would make an adorable cartoon. It's just about being different, accepting. It's like the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer story, kind of. God, what a good question. What would be better served by animation?
Despite the fact that I do love the movies and the spectacle is real, I would 100% watch a Mad Max cartoon. That George Miller verse is big, and I feel like there's a lot of places you could go that we haven't seen yet, and a lot of weird ass fucking car shit, culture shit that you could do in animation and take advantage of it. Because I think that's also what you want to be able to do. You want to be able to take advantage of the fact that like you could theoretically do anything with the advice of a good animation house. But yeah, I'd watch a Mad Max cartoon.
This is not my pitch, but like in my head, I'm like, well, go for something that they can't do anymore, which generally means the cast is passed on. So, like off the top of my head, you can make some Smokey and the Bandit animated movies. Fast cars, fucking wise cracking lead. Buddy drives a truck, fucking trying to get beer to Texarkana. Sounds like a cartoon. Kids love Smokey and the Bandit.
And they love beer. I love
let me see. Andor. If you turn Andor into a cartoon, maybe kids will watch it finally.
These characters doing anything. They're just sitting around talking.
Animation would be cheap. It's just mouths.
Yes. What would me? This is a really good question. I feel like I'm failing it. What do I like that would lend itself better to animation?
Ooh, James Brown in chat said that Dune would make wild anime.
Yeah, and there are a lot of books.
A lot of fucking books. Ooh, Banzai.
Lord Mooby says the entire Saw franchise would be better animated. I was thinking about saying Buckaroo Banzai because at one point we were going to do it animated with Keanu Reeves. Galaxy Quest 2 animated film, says the Dork Knight. I'm there for it.
I would do Lost Boys. I feel like Lost Boys, you could do like a series of events that happen in that town. All with a saxophone solo.
James Brown says The Crow as an animation like Spawn. God, remember the Spawn cartoon?
Yeah, that was metal.
Team Dreg says the Sergio Leone trilogy would be rad as an anime.
Sure.
True.
Goonies.
Ghostbusters, they said, even though we've had an animated series. X-Files. I could fucking...
Oh, X-Files, yeah.
That would lend itself. X-Files, that's Bob Gnarly's Magic Van said X-Files.
The Mummy.
I got one.
Ooh.
Planet of the Apes.
Ooh. Good call.
You could sequelize OG. You can take that shit back to Taylor and whatnot. Because it's cartoon.
It is.
You could do Sean Connery, James Bond.
Ooh.
You could do Roger Moore, James Bond. You could do specific James Bond. I don't know why I picked one.
James's Bond.
All the Jameses that you can bond.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, you could just clone all of their voices and just have the gathering of the Bonds, like the gathering of the Juggalos, but it's just all of them.
The Council of Bonds.
Indeed.
Word is Bonds.
Wouldn't that be interesting? Like
William
Q
Anderson
is
says Turk 182, the animated spectacle.
For
What were you
kids.
saying, Banffman?
I was gonna say, like, wouldn't it be cool to, like, you just really took it out there, like all the Bonds sit at a big table, like the Kingsmen, and Q is in the middle and decides, like, Timothy Dalton, you go on this mission.
Oh,
like the
that's
mission
hot.
gets sent in, and then they pick the appropriate Bond for the mission.
We could literally go to that Google AI and tell it to give us that, and it'll give us that clip.
Yep.
Do we do it? Do we betray our true gifts as artists and turn to technology to solve our problems? Or should we pull together $4 million to make that short?
Yeah, Kickstarter. Here's what I want to make a short based on IP. I don't know.
Episode CGS 2 in chat says Barney Miller and MASH. Could you imagine a Barney Miller cartoon? Let me tell you something. Kids would like Andor more than that.
They would.
Kids would be baffled by a modern day Barney Miller cartoon.
Like, did you make a taxi cartoon? Yeah, we got Vito back to voice the character.
Electric Eliminator 5 said Dick Tracy. Good fucking call.
That makes
Not the Warren Beatty one, but like
OG
comics one.
Yeah, but Warren Beatty will never let it happen.
Yeah, no, he's got the rights. He ain't doing it. Max Flay said Kramer versus Kramer. Totally watch that animated.
But as long as it's Dustin Hoffman versus fucking Kramer from Seinfeld.
Oh, that'd be amazing. There you go. Oh my, feed that into a fucking AI. Let's watch that clip.
And they're just fighting. They're like the Highlanders.
Cheers, the cartoon. It gives us a chance to mention the passing of the late, great George Wendt.
Indeed.
Norm himself. Ocean Explorer Spirit said, yes, Labyrinth. Excellent call.
Indeed.
Excellent call. James Brown said Sin City Animated. I'm down for that. Dread says John Carlos McMaster. That makes a lot of sense. Megalopolis, the animated series, says Alan Smithy.
I mean, for the 8 of you who loved Megalopolis, let's spend another $200 million of fucking Coppola's money.
John Carlos McMaster, The Rocketeer. Excellent fucking call. Especially if it was done in the Dave Stevens style.
There was just a Rocketeer animated series on Disney Plus relatively recently.
Is it done in the Dave Stevens style?
I don't believe it was. No.
Set in the fucking days of World War II or the 50s or whatever the fuck?
If I remember correctly, the pitch was, and I think David Oyelowo voiced the main character, but he was a Tuskegee Airman who gets his hold on a rocket, but his daughter ends up being the one who flies it.
That's on Disney Plus right now.
I believe it is.
Why the fuck aren't we watching it?
It's very like Spidey and His Amazing Friends style, or like
truly a kid show.
Yeah, like Young Jedi kind of like The Rocketeer, doesn't really quite look like The Rocketeer, but
right?
She does have a bulldog apparently.
Wow.
Hazy Wave says kids love Betty Page. They absolutely do. But she wasn't Betty Page in that movie. She was Jenny Blake.
Yes.
But she was Betty Page in the comics.
Maybe they couldn't get the rights.
The late great Dave Stevens. Bow and Arrow says Columbo, the animated series.
One more thing.
I mean, not for nothing, but like you could get hundreds of episodes out of it. I mean, it's basically Scooby-Doo.
Yep.
And he is a imitatable voice. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean,
people,
Natasha
you know,
Lyonne
they always used to
Poker Face.
they always used to take old actors' voices for cartoon characters like Huckleberry Hound and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Night of the Living Dead, Team Dreg says. Yeah.
Zombie cartoon.
Seattle KO says a live action Jessica Rabbit. Well, now we're going in the opposite direction. But
also, have you met pornography?
Yeah. Dan Quirk says Kevin used to have a weird thing where he would post himself crying after a Marvel movie or something. I did it like twice. Like I posted myself crying watching The Flash, and I got a job directing The Flash. So,
hey, power to you.
A couple times, and then I posted a picture of me after I saw Black Panther 2, and my eyes were like teary. And oh my god, for 2 days I was roasted on the internet. Like they just went after me, like, you fucking simpy cock. How dare you? They really went after me hard. So the lesson I learned there was never show emotion for the rest of your life. Let it go. Let it go.
Yes.
I'll tell you right now, Mark, the cold never bothered me anyway.
Keep it secret. Keep it safe.
You know what kids love? Kids, they may not love Andor, but they love to cry. They love to feel emotional about Marvel movies, just like me.
Every kid is always on the verge of tears.
Max Flay says kids hate Kevin Smith crying. Come on, they don't. They love it. Big Chief Ward says a District 9 sequel animated movie. Blunt Man and Chronic Cartoon says Jose Munster. I'm with you. Marc Bernardin Splinter. I see a few votes for that.
You got that.
Animated.
Let's get some people drawing.
Mutant MO says new comics tomorrow. That's right, man. And you know what? Like, so you know we're doing in next week. I have a story that comes out in the giant size Spider-Man, and it's set across the Marvel universe. It's fun. Then the month after that, Archie Meets Jay and Silent Bob comes out.
Ooh.
They have 41 different covers.
Holy shit.
But not the Archie didn't do them all, but like, you know, a retail joint could be like, I'm ordering 300 copies and they get their own cover and stuff. So there are 41 different covers, man. It's been delightful. They keep sending to me for approval, and it's just me and Jay drawn in the Archie style over and over again. Really lovely.
That's fun. Comics.
I can't wait for people to see that book, man. I'm so fucking proud of it. It's crazy. And then this summer, Quick Stops. My next 4 issues of Quick Stops comes out. And each one of them is a real banger, man. So big year of comics for me. And then somebody asked, like, hey, man, fucking, do I see your name involved with the Marvel DC crossover thing? Can't say.
Kids love it when you're coy.
But man, it'd be nice to get a little taste of that event. Fuck, comic book history in the making right there.
Get in there, man.
Garth Nader says you will cry at the end of Andor. Is that right? Banff Man, did you watch all of Andor season 2?
Banff, yeah.
Is it an emotional affair?
It is. I don't know. I don't think I cried. I cried like earlier. Like, I don't know if I cried at all in season 2. The speeches in season 1 got me. Season 2.
Well,
season 2 was.
There was the one scene in the wheat field, towards the end, that I do think if a thing is going to get you to cry, it's going to be that.
Yeah. I mean, Mark and I talked about it for like 2 hours, and then somebody commented on my other podcast. And they were like, it's nice to hear JC talk on this podcast about Star Wars without shitting all over it with Marc Bernardin. And
Man, we could not have loved season 2 of Andor more. So I'm not entirely sure what that's about.
That's what I said. I go, do you listen to Fat Man Beyond? Like, I talked endlessly about how much I like Andor and Skeleton Crew. Hundreds of hours of Disney era Star Wars I love. You just don't like that I don't like Acolyte, along with everybody else who watched it.
Kabuki Kid says Yummy Fur, the animated series by Chester Brown. Fuck yes. Ed the Happy Clown. I'm down for that, man. Kabuki Kid also said Flaming Carrot animated series. How about Milk and Cheese?
Ooh,
Remember that? Evan Dorkin's Milk and Cheese?
Too much coffee, man.
Too much coffee, man. Reed Fleming, World's Toughest Milkman.
Man, indie comics were so weird.
They truly, what a golden age it was. Is that it for? Hazy Wave says Cerebus animated series. Kabuki Kid says Concrete animated series. Now they're just trying to out indie us. Indie comics galore.
Sophie's Choice anime.
Stanley says, do these every week, please. Lord Movie says, an emotional finish sounds dirtier than it's meant. No, that's exactly as fucking dirty as I meant it. Lastborn says, we need an animated Gene Wilder. Yeah, man, fucking an animated Willy Wonka show.
I mean, yeah, why hasn't there fucking been? I mean, other than the fact that that story doesn't necessarily have a lot of legs, which is, I got a chocolate factory, make chocolate that you'll never get to taste. By the way, now I give it up to this boy who's not that interesting, and his crazy grandfather who's been fucking shirking the system and living on the government dole, even though fucker could easily get up and walk, just didn't wanna. It's, yeah.
If you want to view paradise. Jacob Kim says, Kevin, I watched the Peter Boyle episode of X-Files. You're right to talk about it so much. It's fantastic, isn't it? Isn't it, though?
Clyde Bruckman's final report.
You know what I just watched the other night? Just like, I didn't do the whole series, but I just went right to the last episode. Was what's his name? Fucking God, his name's escaping me. Lost. Not JJ, but our boy.
Oh, Damon. Watchmen.
Damon Lindelof's Watchmen. It's so fucking unbelievably smart and good. And a wonderful companion piece to the Watchmen. Like, I remember when they announced it, I was like, oh, they're doing a Watchmen series. Cool. And then I heard like, oh no, it's not the book. It's its own thing. And I was like, oh, that's a mistake. But that fucking thing is brilliant. It's so good. And that episode is fantastic. Like, to sum up, I love when what's her name? Lori and Adrian like share the screen. And he's like, Mr. Spesic, what a surprise. What a pleasant surprise. It was just fucking, oh God, it's so good. But then it makes me go back and watch the tail end of the previous episode to that.
Yeah.
Where, you know, she's outside, they're getting attacked by the 7th Cavalry and she's like fucking taking everybody out John Wick style. And then they fucking like gun down the truck she's in, they yank the door and they're about to fire on her and then poof, dude's head blows up and you see fucking Dr. Manhattan just taking everybody out and shit, stopping the bullets. Oh, so fucking good. Kids, do you have a good time hanging out, bullshitting, listening to me and Mark geek out over the culture that pops? That makes 2 of us.
Like the days of old.
Had a good ass time too. You know when you're gonna have a good ass time? Starting Thursday night when you go see Dogma at a theater near you if you're here in the United States. Starts on Thursday, but it's playing for a week, if not more, kids. tickets at dogmamovie.com or at the Iconic Events website or wherever you get your tickets, the box office. Walk up, get your ticket, man. Party like it's 1999. Prepare thyself for the second coming. All over your face, neck, and chest. Dogma, back in theaters on the big screen on Thursday. And if you're like, well, I didn't get to see you on tour, Kev, when you toured Dogma with 20 different cities. Well, come see me and Jay on the Oral Sex Tour. Tickets at csmod.com. What about you? You got anything?
I got nothing to plug, man. I'm just fucking nose down making shit.
It's making that shit. Kids, such a pleasure hanging out. Missed y'all while I was out there on the road, man. But it was delightful to be here tonight doing this bullshit and stuff like that. I'll see some of you in New Jersey at Smodcastle Cinemas on Thursday night. Man, that's where I'll be taking in Dogma. I've got an art show in Soho for the behind the scenes stills that Darren took years ago. They blew up into big, gorgeous fucking prints. So they're having an art show at the Morrison Hotel in Soho and then one in Los Angeles, like in a week and a half or something like that. So I'll be there for that on Thursday night. And then I'm going to drive down to Jersey for the Q&A after the 7:30 screening. And then on Friday night, I'm sure I'll see some of you cats at the Tribeca Film Festival, man. Logic's movie is debuting. So proud of him, man. It's such a wonderful movie. I'm so delighted people get to see it now. That kid's going to be making film for the rest of his life. He's really good at it. So I'll see some of you there in Jersey, some of you in New York. I'll see some of you in Phoenix at Phoenix Fan Fusion on Saturday. And I'll see the rest of you somewhere down the road. If you want to see me, if I'm coming to your neck of the woods, go to csmod.com, my friends.
Can people begin booking staterooms on a boat?
Damn skippy they can. You want to join me and Marc on the high seas and whatnot? Fat Man Beyond at sea. Want to get queasy while watching Fat Man Beyond and shit? Keep your eye on the horizon, man. You'll be able to hold your stomach down. Jay and Silent Bob's Cruise Askew 2 is happening in February of 2026. This coming February, kids. Tickets are on sale right now. Jay and Silent Bob's cruiseaskew.com. We had a blast last time. Come on out. Join us. This time it's 4 days. 40 days and 40 nights, just like that other famous cruise that had a bunch of animals on it.
Bunch of filthy animals.
2x2.
Mm-hmm.
Elementary, my dear. 2 times 2 is 4. Elementary, my dear. 2 times 5 is 10. Do you remember that Schoolhouse Rock?
Yes.
It was the Noah. 40 days and 40 nights.
I just remember the super sad one of the guy figure skating all by himself.
Girl. Figure 8. If you can make a figure 8, it would be great if you could keep me from killing myself. It is a very fucking blue song. But then they fucking dropped the hammer. It's like 1 times 8 is 8. 2 times 8 is 16. 3 times 8 is 24. 4 times 8 is 32. And 5 times 8 is 40. That's true. You can always bang those lyrics because you just have to know your times tables.
Except I'm not sure if kids know their timetable anymore. We learn math by memorization. There's some fucking algorithm shit happening.
Like Andor, kids don't have time for math, Marc.
I guess not. They got calculators. They got on their phones.
Yeah, they don't have to think for themselves. They don't learn cursive anymore.
I know. So crazy.
Isn't that nuts? Travis Tierney says Slapshot animated. Come on. Fucking excellent idea. There it is, my friends. Jacob Kim says, Kevin, please come to Dothan, Alabama. We have an opera house and a civic center you could easily sell out. We have a mansion and a yacht.
Many Dothan spies died to bring us this information.
I might be heading toward Alabama soon. I'll let you know.
Do it.
Lastborn says, as a lefty, fuck cursive.
Okay.
There's a perspective I never thought of, man, but you're right. Like Muse is left-handed. He writes like this, like a fucking labyrinth Muppet.
Dragging his hands all over that ink.
Well, it's like he's being controlled by Frank Oz from just under the frame.
Does it get better without cursive? Is it easier to just be a lefty drawing, I don't know, block letters?
Nicholas the Gamer 31 says, hey, Kevin, what's your personal opinion of the Fallout show? Just curious because season 2 is coming out. I enjoyed it. I thought that was well done. I never played the game, so I didn't know shit going in, but I enjoyed that show. Homeboy was good. Fucking
Walton Goggins.
Walton Goggins.
Yeah. Cool.
Well, there it is, my friends. Thank you for hanging out.
This was fun.
This is good times, man. We popped the culture, and the culture popped us right back. Can't do this without Banff, man. Give it up for Banff, man. Will Wilkins out there somewhere. Back room making shit happen. Give it up for Will Wilkins and shit. But there ain't no show without the other guy. Give it up for Mr. Marc Bernardin.
They call me Hot Cocoa.
Such low-hanging fruit. It was so perfect, and it never occurred to me. Hot cocoa. That's Ryan Reynolds is like, I want to do an R-rated cocoa. And we call it Hot Cocoa.
The hot is in a neon sign.
Poisonous Plants 15 is pointing out Fincher is doing Tarantino. That's true. Apparently, David Fincher is doing a sequel to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood with Brad Pitt's character.
Which I thought was like an April Fool's Day joke until it turns out to be real.
Turns out to be real. It's going to make all the money. They're going to get all the attention and shit. Just makes sense. Anyway, that's the last thing of as we were going out the door. I saw that.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta end the show. Gotta go. Remember, Dogma, Thursday, starting Thursday, and all weekend long. Go to see it 9 times.
I'm gonna buy my tickets.
Yeah, me too. All right, kids, there it is. For Fat Man Beyond, I'm Kevin Smith.
I am Marc Bernardin.
Tune in next time. Same fat time, same fat channel. Smodcast.com or
youtube.com/Kevin Smith.
Dogma in theaters everywhere this week. Jeff's Kiss.
Wow.
This is the cat. Greetings, everybody, and welcome to the AKA Ask Kev Anything. Every saga has a 10-year anniversary, ladies and gentlemen, and this is what happens when Jay and Silent Bob get old. I'm Kevin Smith. Cheers,